All right. Welcome back to the hopefully episode I guess episode finale of this storyline that I have named and forgot the name of. But that's okay. I'm your host as always, Dr. RPG Jeff Harvey. This is Star Trek Europa, and I will now introduce my. I will not introduce. They will introduce the crew. Jack, you're on top. Go ahead.
Oh, hello. I'm Jack. Yeah, I think this is the quickest we've ever actually started the stream. I'm liking it. I'm caught a little off guard.
Yeah,
Hello,
no, doing
everybody.
stuff right is always harder.
I know, right? Being professional. Right. You can find me over at my own channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, 5 days a week now. But the main draw of our channel is the Saturday Dungeons and Dragons game entitled Andrashadid and the Cult of Worms, in which our party is traveling all over quite a vast empire, trying to track down and get ahead of a crazed necromantic cult. And in doing so, we are exploring the concept of death, undeath, the afterlife, funerary customs through the lens of many different cultures that I've created in this world, with help from the community during our Wednesday world building stream. So if any of that interests you, head over to my channel and check out all the things we have there in the schedule, and you can find me. You can find me there. As for right now, I am excited to get back to what I hope is the finale of this storyline, and I'm very excited to shoot some ancient mad alien robots. But
Yes.
we'll see. We'll see if that ever happens.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, I play
first.
I play Commander Arani Ambrose, the first officer of the USS Europa, underneath Captain Hage. We are the entire crew, except for a few ensigns, are on the ship. So we're pretty well represented as far as our hierarchy.
Yeah.
Our hierarchy. Yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
John,
I'm excited. Thank you.
Yep, John, you're up.
Hi, I'm John. I play Kazriana Shabaraneva, the science officer and second officer of the Europa.
Which I challenge anyone else to pronounce. Period.
Castriana Shabaraneva.
Yeah, shut up, you. I still have heard the word. I can see it, and I still can't do it. So,
I don't remember what Brian said last week, but he tried so hard and fell so far.
All right, Evelyn, go ahead.
I'm Evelyn. I play Dr. Desavi Onet. If you want to follow me places, you can maybe find my Twitter. I think it's Zelvenja. Every now and again, I post pictures of my dog. That's about it. Other than that, I have zero pluggables.
Brian.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Captain Jorad Hage, the captain of the Europa. I have nothing to plug.
Well, as I said before, I am your host, Dr. RPG Jeff Harvey, and I don't have a lot to post at the moment to plug other than the studiotembo.com. Anything I'm doing, you can find there. Also, Studio Tembo at Twitter and all the other things. If you can find it on social media, it's probably me. I got some projects coming up, but what projects are going on right now have all been delayed due to all the things in the world that go wrong. So, and on that note, always a plus, always a positive note. Let's go ahead and do our recap.
When last we left our intrepid adventurers, Cass lost her administrator privileges because the Corps decided we were a threat after the ship crew managed to fully disconnect and de-partition Ava, I believe. Oh no, after she was made aware of the interface 227 and the other disassociated robots.
No, that came later. That was a separate compounding incident. Yeah.
All right.
Well, there's
I believe you.
Nonetheless.
I clearly did not review my notes. We had found the group of disenfranchised, disconnected robots who have decided the Corps' mission is misguided. And are battling with our prime directive and what action, how much action we should and should not take. And then it sounds like the decision was made for us as our SSH was ordered to raise the Sentinels and Walkers, and the core sent the Guardians.
Yep. That's about where we left off. So,
Yep.
Anyone else want to add anything to that?
Did we manage? I don't think we managed the EVA transfer yet because a lot of other things happened, but we set up the Arrow Wing to act as a sort of removed hard drive situation. I think we're still in the process of that. I don't know where we are as far as the extended task. But I think we did all the difficult stuff, and now we just need to, keep getting breakthroughs.
Yep.
Or however it works.
That sounds
three
correct.
more
Yep.
breakthroughs.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So whenever we get that, if the station and all of us are still intact, we'll be able to download EVA straight into the Arrow Wing, pull the physical connection, and nothing's getting in and out of the Arrow Wing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that we want to add? Go ahead, Brian.
We were also trying to talk the computer into working with us rather than against us.
Mhm.
Right.
That had gone pretty well, I think.
Up until it didn't.
Right.
It was going well until the conversation where the core discovered where the abandoned were.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And the
I
core
knew that was
thinks
going to go wrong.
the core thinks it's suborned the SSH, and we think it hasn't.
Right. All right. Anything else anybody wants to add there, or should we jump in?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So when last we left, the Guardians were cresting the hill, and Ambrose and company were about to get, I guess, phaserated or stomped on, or whatever might happen
Whatever they
here.
do.
Whatever it is they do.
Made
So
into robot wine.
yes, made into dead. The deceased. All right. So for this combat that we are going to jump into almost pretty much right away, you have no red shirts, so any damage you
Yep.
take is yours. Although I will say that you can, as you would normally shuffle damage off to red shirt, you can shuffle it off to one of 5 of the abandoned robots that are in the area.
Okay.
That would result in their deaths, of course. So good luck with that. Other than that, you've got 2 of the giant guardians coming your way, and the sentinels and walkers. You can hear them, but they're not here yet.
Yeah. So I actually had just to review. The SSH is going to have them come in at the back line so that if they do get taken from him, they are far enough away that they won't be a problem for us immediately.
Right.
But what he would like to do on the way there, where's my SSH section here? He has a focus in weapon maintenance and repair. And in the future, I'm sure that's more than just, hardware. That's also software.
Sure.
So is there any sort of self-repair mechanism inside these units he's controlling?
There is not. They're all external repair.
Okay. Is there any way that he could create some sort of feedback loop in some non-volatile but important minor component, so that if it does look like control is being taken away from him, he could just fry all the guns?
Oh yeah, you could probably just overload the power systems to fry out circuitry. They're pretty old. Like just running in their self-diagnostics, they're pretty old and they're pretty run down. They're kind of fragile. So, I mean, quote unquote fragile for a giant war machine.
Right.
But yeah, that should be plausible, if not possible.
Okay.
So, all right. On
Is
that
that
note,
a roll to set up, or is that we'll figure it out when it happens?
we'll roll when it comes. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll roll when it comes along.
Cool.
So let's see. Let's go ahead and do the first round of combat.
Oh,
So
boy.
the way this works, basically you've got a village around you, right? There's a hobo town full of robots and droids. Many of them are non-functional. Some of them are quite functional and attempting to flee for cover because they know what's about to happen. Engineering interface 227 is looking directly at you, Ambrose, with a probably going to murder you kind of face on, because you clearly are the one that betrayed them. As the two guardians come up over cresting the ridge, he turns and looks at them, and there's a sense of much like the skull of death from Terry Pratchett. He can have no expression, yet he has an expression of fear on his face. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys choose what to do first. They are the creatures are about 2, so they're going to be at long range from where you currently are, which is 2 range categories away. I don't have a very good representation of this because I just don't. But you are able to go first. What do you guys want to do?
Okay, so I believe I have something here. One of my talents. Right. I have quick to action, so whoever wants to do something now, we can also take the second action without having to spend any initiative or whatever it's called. Is there something I was all ready for this last week and we didn't get to it? I'm not ready for it this week.
That's right.
Because I didn't expect to jump right into combat.
Right into it.
Yep.
Right. Where can we best take up a defensive position?
Yeah.
You can find
We're
some
just kind of
cover
in the middle of everything right now, aren't we?
Right. There are places to certainly take cover in the area that you are around. Yeah, if you want to take cover, there are buildings, there are stone, whatever. You guys can make it what you want. Like I said, it's a hobo town, so anything you'd find there, barrels, which are pretty much not going to do any good, but little shanty huts, right, or anything like that. There are actually tall skyscraper type buildings here that you could hide in or around as well. But then again, if they come down, you have that complication to deal with.
Right, you're screwed.
So.
Now, remind me, last time were we mid conversation with the captain when the comms went out? So we don't really know what's going on, right?
Yes.
All right.
So,
sir, might I recommend we take cover over there?
Yeah, we need to get into a defensive position.
Small shanty huts.
Okay. You guys run for some cover, which is not hard to get. I'll give you guys each I'm going to say 2 cover, which is essentially you'll roll 2 dice to reduce damage.
And I'm actually making sure that all of our new robot frenemies get to cover first.
Okay.
Because I know they blame me, so I'm making sure I protect them.
Directing them to cover then.
Yeah.
All right. So while you're directing them to cover, I will take this opportunity to have one of the guardians go.
Well, I can use quick to action.
You can. You want to use quick to action? Which means you can go again.
Yes.
Well, it means someone else in your group can go again. So you are directing everyone out.
Sure.
They would act. You keep the initiative. And now someone else on your side can act. So Evelyn or is Elizabeth there? I'm not sure who else.
She is. Yeah. Elizabeth.
Yeah. It's Cherka, Mills, O'Connor, and Ambrose. Or did we send? No.
Yeah, that was it.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I remember we talked about sending O'Connor over to the core, and I think we decided against it.
Yeah.
All right. And the SNH is not actually here, so he's actually on the other section. So these are the 4 we've got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Ambrose has already acted. He is directing people away. One of the other 3 of you can act now.
Elizabeth is going to take a moment to try and figure out how their visual sensors work, and she's going to try and scramble their visual sensors somehow, throwing up a beam of protons or something to throw them off.
Okay. Give me a roll using your tricorder. Let's say it's engineering engineering and either reason or insight.
Does my sensors focus apply on this?
Sure.
Okay.
What you got?
Yeah, I'd like to spend a momentum too.
All right.
Oh fuck.
Ooh.
Oh no. Okay.
That is 0 successes. So
All right.
Well, at least it's not a complication this time.
yeah.
Right. So you you scan them. You scan their sensors, and you realize they're running on some sort of multispectral multispectral sensor band. So it's going to be difficult to get that up. You could try again next time, but right now you're still trying to figure out exactly how they work, and from a distance and with the tricorder and whatnot, it's kind of difficult. So that brings us back to me. I will now use one of the guardians. So the guardian is going to do 2 to attack, and I'm going to just no, you know what? I'm going to use their special ability, which requires 2 of these, just so I can show it off. And they're going to roll all of these. I put this over here so you guys don't see that. And I just roll. So 4, 13, 18, 13. So that is 3 successes, which is all I needed. One of them powers up that big yellow sensor thing in the middle, like not sensor, but that big yellow glowing thing in the middle kind of begins to open up a bit into a multi-part thing. Appears to draw in a lot of local energy, and then fires in an arching beam in an arc that hits a lot of things. It starts at one of the buildings, one of the shanty buildings, and it kind of explodes as it comes across. And I am going to be hitting. I will be targeting Ambrose since he's the one who's the most out in the open. So that is 2 to hit, and it's actually 3 to hit, which hits. Unless you have anything else that changes that. Where'd my thing go? I don't think you do. So, with that in mind, I am going to roll damage next. They roll 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Psha. Out of the 7, I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with 2 effects. So you'll take 8 damage, and I'll have 2 effects and 1 momentum. The effect I'm going to use is going to knock down. That's the only effect I can use right now. And the momentum I'm going to use is going to do... well, never mind. I'm using the effect to be able to do the multi-effect, to be able to hit multiple targets, which in this case I'm just hitting multiple buildings and structures. So you have a reduction of 2 because of your cover. The way cover works in this game, I really don't care for it, but what you basically do is you roll 2d6s, and whatever you roll on that reduces the damage. So go ahead and roll 2d6s for me.
Okay.
Weird way to do that.
It is. I don't really like it.
Yeah.
And that reduces 0 because... Oh, no, that reduces 1 because 5 counts as 1. So you take 1 less damage at 7.
All right.
Do you have anything else that reduces damage for you?
I don't think so.
All right. In that case, you essentially now have taken 7 damage, which is 1... that's 7 points of damage to your stress, which counts as 1 wound or injury, I guess.
All right.
There are things you can do, like to avoid damages and whatnot. I'm not sure if you have that sheet in front of you, but I did send you guys a sheet earlier on that gives you some how to avoid damage and stuff like that. So
now, when you say earlier on,
way
earlier
early,
on today, or like 3 months ago when we started this,
like the before we even started earlier on.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
then I do not have that sheet.
Okay. Let me see if I can remember how to do it without taking up too much time. You can spend determination to gain. That's that task. Hang on. I need to find the combat section. If attack is successful, I roll damage. Target rolls resistance, and then subtract the damage of some resistance. Subtract. Step 4 is distress. 5. For every 5 you take, it's a 5 plus. You suffer an injury. Creatures at 0 stress, you suffer another injury, and if you take damage while at 0 stress, you take another injury. Injuries can be lethal or non-lethal. This is a lethal injury. It would take 2 lethal injuries and you die. You can avoid injuries. A creature can avoid injury once per scene by either spending 2 momentum or suffering a consequence. A creature may also spend determination to ignore an injury for the remainder of a scene. When you are injured, you are essentially incapacitated for 1 round. You're essentially incapacitated for the scene. You can still do certain things, but they don't really explain well, I think, what incapacitated means. But
So if I don't do something to reduce this, I'm just out.
You're out.
you're not really out, but you're kind of out. Yeah,
You're pretty out. Yeah.
pretty out.
Okay, well we're not doing that.
Right.
So I can spend a determination to ignore that.
Yes, you can also spend momentum to shift the damage off to a non-essential entity. So one of the you dodge, you spend the momentum, you dodge out of the way, and it hits the guy behind you. And
I grab a robot and hold it in front of me.
Right, exactly. Right.
That's going to do a lot for your
Yeah. I won't
medication.
open up a second front or anything.
Yeah. Or really, since Elizabeth, Fiona, and Rebecca are all technically secondary characters, throw one of them in front of you.
All right.
Can't
Sorry,
he-
yes, Beth.
Can't,
No.
can't he spend momentum to avoid the injury as well?
Yeah, you could spend 2 momentum to avoid.
Yeah.
A creature can avoid an injury once per scene by either spending 2 momentum or suffering a consequence.
Yeah.
So
Or
the consequence.
suffering a consequence.
Yeah, it's a little vague, but what a consequence usually is you can do things like you're thrown prone, or someone else is injured, or something like that. It's kind of again a little vague on what consequences are.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
And it's
not
in
starting with a
giant
lot of
capital letters.
momentum.
Consequence.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So spending momentum would negate the injury, whereas determination just ignores the injury.
correct.
Okay. So if everybody's okay with that, I'm going to spend 2 of our
Yeah.
determination.
Go
Go
All
for
right.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Take those 2 determination. I just
right.
got into combat. I don't want to be immediately knocked out.
Right. All right. So you spend 2 momentum. Describe how you're avoiding the injury. You still take the stress damage, but it doesn't necessarily mean it hits you. That could be literally just stress.
Right. So I'm still taking the 7 damage. I just
Correct.
don't get the other half of my body vaporized. Okay. So yeah, Ambrose is used to fighting in destroyed urban environments. So I feel like he's directing everybody to where they need to go, but he's trying to position himself in a way that he can if an attack comes towards him, you tell me if this is possible. I may be trying to do too much. To almost sort of direct that attack into a structural weakness. So could I use this opportunity to dive behind some sort of support structure on one of these towers so that it takes the not the damage obviously, but the brunt of the attack?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so you dive behind one of these larger structures, and the beam, as it's sweeping across the region where you were once standing, the dust clouds come up, and it hits the beam, the support structure beam behind it, and you see it as you're kind of leaning against the thing, hunkered back with your rifle. You can feel the heat of it behind you, like heating up the metal as it goes past, and then continues on to vaporize other things over there. So
what I'm hoping with this is if we can draw them in and they continue to damage the structure, we can get it to fall on one of them.
right, I gotcha.
Cool.
So with avoiding an injury, he also suffers a complication, which is usually like a small injury or something.
Sure.
Thanks, Brian. No, bring it on.
I'm just trying to give the doctor something to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll say that as you're leaning against the thing, you can feel the heat of the metal, and it starts burning your back. So you'll have a minor burn on your back,
Okay.
possibly a second degree burn.
Sure, I've had plenty of those.
Sure. That brings us around to one of you guys. So Elizabeth has gone and Ambrose is gone. Who's going to go next?
Let Mills go next. She'll be, because through all this, she'll be trying to get essentially the non-coms to safety.
Okay.
As well.
So you're gonna keep directing people.
Yeah.
Okay. You're directing everyone, and at some point, one of the little robots, the little wheeled ones, is scooting towards you at a high rate of speed, and well, a relatively high rate of speed. Not quite RC car fast, but it's coming up, and it one of the wheels kind of hits a little rut, and it falls down and forward, and it's now lying face down, apparently unable to get up on its own.
She'll run over and right it. And is it light enough she can just like pick it up and carry it?
Yeah, it's not very big.
All right. We'll do that.
Okay.
She can carry a robot in direct traffic.
Carrying a little baby robot as you go.
This is my BB-8.
That's right. That brings us back to me. There are 2 of these giant robots, so we'll use the second one. I don't have any more threat, so I can't do the energy beam again. So I'm going to target.
Good. I can't take another one of those.
Right. Oh, I can still do an energy beam. I can't do the big swathing energy beam. I wanted to show
great.
that what that could do.
Awesome.
So this time it is going to. This one is going to open fire with what looks to be projectiles. We'll go ahead and just do 2 dice, and I'm going to target. I'm going to go ahead and target Fiona since she's stepped out of cover to be able to pick up this droid. Although we're playing as you still have cover because that's fine. 4 and 8. That is 2 successes. That is this time it is 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2, 4, 4 damage. So not too bad.
Not bad.
So I rolled 2d6 for the cover.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
So you've reduced by 4. You managed to,
Yep.
Cool.
as you pick up the droid, you get that moment where the automatic fire is coming in and shooting at your feet and all around you, and you kind of weave back and forth and slip in behind one of the large beams for one of the other structures nearish to where Ambrose is, and you kind of slide in behind it, and you can hear the tinking and rattling of the hard rounds as they bounce off the metal.
She slides in, she sets the droid down and shoulders the rifle. Or brings it around and shoulders it.
Okay. That brings us to Rebecca, I think, right?
Yep. Who is running and probably also trying to help the little robots because she has like fuck all for combat experience.
Right.
I just came here to find cool plants.
Right. All right. So you're making your way back. I'll say are you trying to get out of the combat area, or are you just trying to hide somewhere?
She's definitely trying to get out of the combat area. I think Rebecca probably would have just kind of freaked out. The anxiety has taken over, and she's just running for cover.
Okay. So you're running away, essentially, and you find yourself kind of darting back away from the combat, and you find a large, an old abandoned, like concrete type structure. It is the doors are open on it. They've kind of been knocked off their hinges, and it's kind of rusty and gross. But you can manage to dart inside, and it's dark and nasty and moist, and if there were spiders here, there'd be spiders.
That's okay.
Yeah. So you're hiding in there at the moment. So you're essentially out of the combat. So Rebecca can either choose to skip her in the future, or if you want to bring her back into things, you can. But for the moment, we'll just kind of put her on the back burner.
Yeah.
Which brings us
That's
back
fine.
around to me. These ones do not get multiple attacks this time, at least not at long range. So they are moving. They're finishing their move by moving up 1 range category. They are now in medium range. So brings us back to the top of the round, and that is Ambrose, or really anybody that wants to go. One of you guys.
I'd like to go first, if that's okay.
Go for it.
I would like to scan the robots to find a weakness and I'm trying to give my ally an advantage.
Okay. Go ahead and give me another roll.
Okay.
I said
Can
this time it'll probably be
I-
reason and engineering.
Okay.
Using my tactical systems focus assist.
You can, but it would be your action.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to help you guys. So,
Right.
Got you.
Um,
Got you.
So-
I think it might actually be, I think it might actually be science just because I'm using a sensor.
If you want to do science, it's fine because you're just scanning. But I
It's
figured
this-
either science or engineering is either one is fine because you're either looking for a weakness, an engineering weakness, or you're scanning them for a weakness. So
yeah, it's the same thing for me either way, though.
Yeah.
Well, that is 2 successes because that is in my focus range, and I am using sensors, and I have dedicated focus sensors. So Yesbeth is very good with sensors. So
Yay!
it's her special interest. So she is able to she is leaning over her tricorder, tapping in furtively. Her hair keeps falling in her face. She keeps blowing it up. And then finally she gets the she finds the weak spot and yells to the captain or yells to the commander, shoot it in the and then I don't know where the weakness is, but
right. So there appears to be a sensor on the top that you've managed to identify that is coordinated to that large beam that thing fired earlier. So you can probably disable large beam or at least do some damage, a weaker spot. So that'll give the crew advantage, which allows them one less lowers difficulty by 1, correct?
I think it's advantage, so it increases their roll by 1. Technically, it's the same result either way.
Right.
Disadvantage would decrease it.
Right. So you've got that. That brings back around to me, unless someone wants to spend. We don't have a moment to spend to do that. So brings it back around to me, and the first giant robot is on like you see it kind of detach segments into what look like these large arms. They come out from around the hip area, just like about where the legs are, but they're arms. And it kind of scoops up one of the trees out of the ground and hurls it towards. There's 4 of you, so let's say. Well, there's 3 of you technically, I guess. So Ambrose. So where Ambrose was behind the thing, a tree is being hurled at Ambrose. I'm going to say that because you're behind more cover, I'm going to give
Doesn't
you
that go against their preserve all the trees
Right?
directive? I feel like that goes against their
It
their
certainly would
programming.
go against the Corps' directive, yes.
All right. Feel like this
2
is
to
a feedback issue sort of situation. I need to
This
protect
robot is a
trees.
loose
Need to
kit.
throw tree at enemy. Beep, boom.
Right.
All right, I tried.
They're more about just murdering. So,
All right.
15, 12, that is 2. That is 2 successes. So, however, because you were under cover, I'm going to say that you're under more advanced cover. I'm going to say you go ahead and get 3 dice for defense this time, and I'm going to say a tree only does 4 damage. So
Okay.
probably should do more, but and I rolled 2. So roll 3d6s, and you're reduced by 1, so that is 2 stress from the tree, kind of like whipping around and coming towards you. Like there's just some 2 points of stress is all you really get there. No big deal.
No big deal. I'm
big
just mostly dead.
Yeah. Stress doesn't kill you. It's fine. And you regain stress at the end of the scene. So
Okay.
brings us back to you guys.
Mills will take aim at the sensor that Chirka pointed out and fire at that.
Okay.
I had this in my face. So control security.
Yes.
Okay. 10-4.
Control security difficulty 2, because that's the difficulty for using any ranged weapon.
Okay.
Also, you guys may not remember this, but in the Europa Player Bible, we have some combat special rules that we can utilize here that allow you guys to do more damage.
Okay.
1 success.
Yes.
You get advantage because of that.
Right, so it counts as 2.
Okay.
Okay. So you have done 2. That is what you require to hit.
Okay.
Or difficulty becomes 1. Either way, that's what you're required to hit. So go ahead and roll damage. And your damage is, you're using a type 3, right?
Yeah.
So I think the damage is 3 plus your security.
Okay. So that is
I
7.
don't have the weapons in front of me, so I'm not 100% sure, but
It is, yeah.
Security is 4. So
Yeah. 7. 7 totale.
why, that's not helpful. Why can't I just roll 7? That's stupid. Right. Apparently I'm gonna roll 4 or 5 and then 2.
Oh, so you can do that on your sheet too.
If I had that set up. Oh,
Yeah.
probably that button right there. Yeah, that button right there with 7
There you
in
go.
it.
Yep, the one with a 7 in it. So you've done 8 damage with 2 effects, and we'll keep that roll because it's actually done the math for me. So 8
Okay.
damage and 2 effects. That's a lot. They have an automatic damage reduction because of their
That
armor
affects
of
cool.
2. So that is 6 damage and 2 effects. What would you like to do with their 2 effects?
Okay.
There are many things you can do.
Yes. I swear to God, I just had this in my face. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. I thought it was the mechanic sheet, but maybe it's not. Attacks.
So I assume, even though you didn't say you were doing it, I assume you're doing a charge on that weapon, which I think it has charge as an
Yeah,
effect. So you can use your effects to do something like
Oh, here they
pierce, which would reduce its defense by 2, which is what it has.
Mm.
You could also do like a vicious or something like that. And I know that you're not supposed to be able to do multiple effects in a single action with one of these weapons, but I don't really care.
Yeah, so charge and piercing would be, yeah, that's fine.
Charge, yeah, you'd be able to do piercing and vicious is what you're looking at, right? Piercing would reduces by 2. That would use one of your effects. The other one is vicious,
Yes,
which adds
there it
1
is.
damage. Right. So that gives you 9 damage, reducing it by you're reducing his resistance by 2, and you're doing 9 total damage. That is a significant amount of damage to the creature. However, or the not creature, but the droid.
Mhm.
It hits, and it hits, and you see it kind of like staggers back a little bit, and kind of the head kind of rolls down, the whole ball area rolls down, and then it kind of looks back up like in a fast motion directly at you.
Oh, delightful.
So it doesn't appear to have done nothing. It's definitely done some damage, but now it looks as angry as a giant ball robot can look. So bringing it back to me, that guy has already gone, so we'll have the other one go. And it is going to attack you as it's the one that had already focused on you before.
Mm.
And I'm going to go ahead and roll. I don't have any threats, so 2. And that's only going to be 1 success to hit. So it fires a beam, a low energy beam from one of its side weapons, and it kind of hits the ground near you and explodes, but doesn't do any real damage. That, I think, brings us to Ambrose.
Okay. So they're continuing to advance on us, right?
Correct. They will move forward one more whole range category next at the end of this turn.
Will that bring them in range of this building I want to collapse on top of one of them?
Yes, it would.
Okay. I don't really know how directing people is working mechanically for you, but I want to make sure everybody is not only moving to cover, but moving in a way to corral these guys into where I need that building to fall. And I'll take some shots if I can do that, but my primary concern is being able to get that building to fall.
Right. All right. Go ahead and give me a presence and command roll for the directing of the people.
That's the important bit of the task you're focusing on here.
Nope, I got more coming.
What did you say? Presence and command?
Presence and command.
Okay.
Yep.
Ambrose is actually good at that. Okay, that's not security. I can't use bold. Yeah, okay. I do have team dynamics. Would this apply?
I would say either inspiration or composure would apply.
Okay, I have both of those as well.
So also escape and avoidance. That wouldn't apply here, but All right, go ahead and make that roll.
What is the difficulty complication range?
Difficulty is going to be, I'm going to say difficulty is 1. And if you get 2 momentum, you can also fire. If you get 2 additional momentum, you can also fire. So you'll be directing them, and then you'll be able to use that 2 momentum to shoot at them as well.
Okay.
So
Anyone mind if I spend that
No,
momentum?
go by all means.
All right, I will do that. That is, oh, I don't need to roll manually. I can just press this button and this button. Seriously?
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
all right,
All right.
you got 2 successes.
So I feel like Mills is going to be taking my station from now on, and I'm gonna be in the mess hall or something. I don't know.
So you direct people, and they're heading off in the direction you want them to. The complication I'm going to give is that as you're doing that, one of the droids is that's well, hang on, that's not a very good complication. Yes, okay. So as you're doing that, one of the beams fires near you. Just a random shot comes near you and knocks you prone. No
Awesome.
damage, just you're hit. You're not even hit, but like something nearby explodes and you were knocked prone. That is your complication. So you don't get a chance to fire this time, but you do manage to get people directed in the direction you want them to. The 2 droids, the 2 large entities, come closer. They are now moved into short range, and at the long range distance, you can see coming up over the ridge, over a different ridge. 4 walkers, which are these ones here, and 2 of these. They get sentinels.
I sure took their time.
Yeah. So they are now rolling up over the hill, and that brings us back around to the top of the round. Who wants to go first? One of you guys.
Can I bark an order and fire?
As long as you're just giving a basic order, yes. If you're trying to direct traffic to do something specific, then it would be a roll.
So a like Cherka help Ambrose up would be.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Okay. All right. So Mills will call over Cherka, help the commander, and we'll fire. I'll continue firing at the one that I fired at before.
Okay. Difficulty is still 2. I'm guessing that's 2 successes.
I'll just take one more point of pride damage.
So go ahead and roll. Yep, there you go. So 9 damage and 3 effects. Whew.
Let's keep with the piercing and vicious. Ooh. Can I knock it down?
Nah, you don't have that ability with that weapon. No.
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 Okay.
But you can do 2 vicious, which would give you 11 damage.
I'm good with that.
So that gives it. It now takes an injury, because its threshold for injury is actually 10, not 5. Takes an injury. You get a second injury because you've also reduced its threshold. So it has now taken 2 injuries, and it kind of begins to wobble and then fall face down into the muck around it, and its legs in the back are just kind of kicking as it is not able to do anything anymore.
Okay.
Which brings us back to my other one that I have, because I have 2 of them, and that one is going to shoot at you hardcore, and that is 2 successes. This time it is firing a missile.
Oh, balls. Can it take a nap first?
It is only 6 damage because I can't escalate my whatnots.
Okay. Escalate my what?
I can't escalate my whatnots. 2, 3, 4 damage. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage with 1, 2, 3, 4 effects. All right. That's going to be bad for you.
It is going to be bad for me.
Bad for you.
Hey, I'll reduce it by 4 though.
All right. 1, 2, 3. So you take 2 damage. I'm going to use my all of my effects to do the only thing I really can do with this one, which is additional damage. So
Okay.
that is vicious of 2 each. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2 for the damage after we reduced it. So that is 10 damage for you.
Okay.
Now, we are playing by because we're playing by the customized rules for our game. That is 2 injuries because for every 5 you take, it's 2.
Okay.
So yes, you're taking 10 points of stress damage and 2 injuries, which puts you essentially at deadsies.
Right.
Dead. Yeah.
Would you like to do something like? I
I
don't
wish.
like the fact that I'm not a fan of the fact that determination is only lets you ignore an injury. I'm not a fan of that. I think determination should
Well,
also. What's that?
She's a supporting character. She doesn't have determination.
Oh, that's true. You don't have any determination, and you don't have any. You don't have any momentum at the moment either.
Nope.
Okay.
You have to have momentum to be able to shift it to another character as well.
Yeah, it's 2 momentum to be able to do it. Although you can buy momentum by giving me threat. So
Mm,
how much do you like Mills?
I think it's also how much do I like the rest of the characters, because
Well, you shift it to an NPC, not a character.
right, no. But if we got the commander out of the commission for a minute and the other 2 supporting characters busy and hiding in a hovel.
You also have
Oh.
5 droids you can use. You can at any point
Right.
use 5 droids, so it can go to an NPC like a non-state actor, as it were.
Right. No. Yeah.
Couldn't you
yeah.
direct it towards one of the robots? I thought that was one of the things we could do.
Yeah. No. That's the plan.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, the issue is we have 2 not security people. We're left with 2 not security people, and 1 security person who is currently getting up off his face.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be our threat generator today.
I'll take my 3 threat,
3.
and yeah, because it requires 2 momentum. So.
Oh, gotcha.
So. But you don't take the damage now either.
Okay.
So you don't take the stress. You basically just send the whole attack to somebody else.
Okay.
So as you do that, you kind of tuck and roll out of the way, and the missile goes past you. The missile fires right past you and hits a brick building, and inside you hear the horrified wails of a now dysfunctional robot
No.
as you have killed one of them and given me the threats. All right. That brings us back to you guys. Ambrose and O'Connor both are able to go.
Ambrose and Chirka?
Ambrose and Chirka, yes. Sorry. Rebecca can also go. She's just
If
hiding
she
in the
could.
building.
Sorry for being obtuse, but if you avoid an injury, I don't think that's in the rules where somebody else gets hurt by it.
So the way it works, at least the way I could be mistaken, but the way I remember reading it was when you avoid, she's not avoiding the injury, it's using the NPC rule, right? So there's an NPC that you can basically, a red shirt takes the damage in this case.
If she's spending the 2 threat, wouldn't she be able to just avoid the injury the normal way though? And then
That's
nobody
true.
gets hurt?
Yeah.
That's true, but you wouldn't avoid the damage. You'd be avoiding the injury, but not the damage.
And you'd be at like close to 0 or 0.
Yeah.
I may have to go back.
A lot of stress I took.
I may have to go back and
Okay.
reread that when we're done with the session, but that's
Okay.
how I've interpreted it. That's how I remember
just-
it being anyway.
I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing. So
Yeah, I gotcha.
change
Okay.
how you want. I just want to make sure I'm clear with what we're doing.
Right, yeah. And I could, like I said, I could be completely wrong on how that actually functions. I just know there is an ability to pass the damage off to all of the damage, including the effects, off to random NPC red shirt. I just don't remember how exactly to do it, and I'd have to look up the book, which that'll slow us down. So for now, we'll assume it's the two momentum, and we'll keep going for now.
Okay.
And then I'll make a note to look that up when we're done. So Ambrose or Elizabeth, what you guys gonna do?
Well, I guess I'll go help I'll go help Ambrose up. Is that a roll of some kind?
No, it's just an assist, so you can help him. You get over to his side, and you can see that he's got, so some of his uniform is pretty scorched on the back side, and he's got a little bit of shrapnel damage to his face, but nothing bad, nothing that's gonna not make him look a little bit handsomer anyway. Chick stick scars. So yeah, you help him up, or you get over to him and offer to help him up. That's up to Ambrose if you actually help him up or not. But
what is the mechanical benefit here?
you
I
would
don't know.
you would no longer be prone. She's essentially making you unprone.
Well, what does it cost if I choose to make myself not prone?
It would use your movement action.
Yeah, your minor action. So
Yep.
technically, I'm wasting my turn here, but
It's a good story.
So essentially, we would both be stuck here.
Yes.
Well,
kind
no,
of.
because
Not
you
really.
could
So
you could use your minor action to get up. You wouldn't be able to use it to aim or move,
right.
but you can
So
still shoot.
From here, you'd be able to stand up. She's helping you stand up, which gives you the ability to take the charge or aim action. Charge is free, but to take the aim action if you wanted to, or anything else you want to do that's a minor action, as well as your normal primary action, which is like shooting.
Have I myself moved from underneath this collapsible structure?
You have not.
Great. All right. So my first priority is to make sure that she is not here when this building collapses, even if I have to be.
Okay.
So whatever the action economy would facilitate, if she doesn't have enough time to pick me up and move herself, I will insist that she get out of here.
You wouldn't have to tell her twice. She's
So she comes running over to you to help you up, and you throw up a hand and stop her and tell her to run the other way. And then you can still take an action because that's just a direction. You're not telling her to take any specific action like run over here so the robots come this way kind of thing. So you can still act.
Oh, I'm just confused on the action economy. Are we on me or Brian?
We're on Brian still.
Okay.
I mean, so is that my minor action? Does that just take up
your minor action would be to move over to him and then be waved off, so you still have your full action, which can be broken into 2 minor actions.
Okay, so you're saying to move away from him, to move back from him again, that's going to take my standard action?
Yeah, you could do it. Well, if you want to, yeah, you could use it as twice though, because a standard action can be broken into 2 minor actions.
Okay, well then I will. I will have spent my 3 minor actions, or I will spend 2 of my minor actions getting to him, being waved off, and I'll spend my other minor action getting away. I have a 3rd minor action, which I'm going to spend.
That doesn't sound right.
It'd be 1 to get to him, and then you break your other 2 up into going away. So you'll have. But go ahead, continue. What were you going to do with your other one, with your extra one?
I'm going to summon the drone that we use to explore this area. I'm going to hit my communicator and tell the drone to come to me as fast as possible.
So me waving her off didn't save her any action economy?
No, it does. She uses 1 minor action to get to you, or to try to get to you, but she's still going to go away as 2 minor actions. She still has the ability to go away, but as she's running towards you, you stop her, and then she runs back away and makes the drone call. So she's at least as far back away as she was when she started. So she's out from under the structure. So you're good there.
All right.
And then I don't have any more actions to use my droids with. The drone is on its way in. It arrives at the end of the scene, and not end of the scene, end of this round.
Okay.
It is now
Ambrose's
turn.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like right on top of me now.
It will be. It will be very soon. Yes. It is close enough that if you want to drop the building on it, you certainly can.
Right. Well, I would prefer not to be underneath this building when it falls, but
right.
I mean, I get the sense, because these are really old robots and these are really big buildings, that when I drop the building on this thing, it's going to crush it, right?
It should.
Okay. Okay. Do I have? Okay. So I need to spend a minor action to stand up, right?
Correct.
then I need to spend another. It would take another minor action to run away,
Correct.
which means I could not fire.
Correct. Unless you have momentum that you can get from doing something, or spending determination. Does determination give you any? Gain a bonus d20 that has rolled a 2, reroll dice, immediately perform another task. So that would be what you would want to do. You could use a determination to immediately roll another to perform another task, which would allow you to fire or run. Basically, you get another turn.
Okay, with a determination.
Yeah. By
Okay.
spending a determination. Yep.
Where
So you'd use your first one. You'd use your first thing to get up. You'd use the second one to shoot, and then you'd use your determination to GTFO, and have another minor action to go.
I wouldn't want to GTFO before I shoot the building down.
It depends on how you want the cool explosion behind you or not. You know, where in the range of the cool explosion you want it to be. Like, do you have a fire hose wrapped around your waist and you explode off the side of the building, kind of thing, or what are you doing?
All right. So you said I would still have. I would still be able to aim with that if I use a determination.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I want to make sure that I can hit this weak point on the building.
Yeah.
And with my type 3, which is accurate, I should be able to do that. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to aim. I'm going to spend a determination to be able to fire, and then I'm going to run.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and give me the roll to hit.
Okay. And aim. What does aim give me?
Aim allows you to reroll a single
D20s.
die. Yeah. Yep. If you fail on your attack roll.
With accurate, I can reroll any D20. That doesn't work. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I am, however, before you do that, the difficulty is only going to be 2 because that's the standard difficulty to hit. But I'm going to use all of my threatsies to go ahead and increase the complication range for you not being able to get out of the way if the building.
Awesome. I figured you were going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw what Brian posted in Discord.
Nope.
But on the type 3s, aim lets you any
Reroll
number of
D-
d20s may be re-rolled instead of the normal benefits of aim.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep.
yeah, that's using an aim action. So the
Yeah.
aim action actually activates your accuracy. So there you go. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So what would that be? That would be
Your difficulty is still 2. Your complication range is 19, 20. No, sorry, wait. 17, 18, 19. No, 18, 19, 20.
that's
No,
a
17, 18,
complication
20.
range of 3.
It's a complication range of 3, yeah.
Okay. And what am I rolling? Control security?
Yes.
Okay, control security. I'd say this definitely qualifies as bold. So I'm going to give you another threat back and take another D20.
Okay.
Otherwise, we do not have any momentum. It said difficulty 2.
Correct.
And we only have 1 determination, right? I'm sure I could only spend 1 around anyway.
I think so.
You can only spend 1 around anyways, but you guys should have more determination than that, and I will get into that after the thing.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Now let me pitch this to you. Would escape and avoidance help me in escaping and avoiding this falling building?
I'll give it to you.
Okay. Since I've been setting this up for like 4 rounds now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is 3d20, difficulty 2, complication range 3, and I have a focus.
And you can reroll a d20 because you have bold security.
Right.
Roll any of them because
Yeah,
you're using
on
aim,
top
right?
on top of accurate. So I'm
Yeah.
good on that. So okay, I press this button. What do we got here? I'm gonna re-roll both those, that 18 and 19.
Yeah.
Right.
A 5, however, is underneath my security, so that's a crit. That counts as 2, right?
Correct.
Nice.
So then I roll these 2 again.
Much better.
So that is
Yeah.
4 successes.
All right. So 4 successes. That will be successful. You get 2 momentum back.
Yay.
Oops, not 3, only 2. All right. So you do successfully. You as you're running away, you hit the building. You hit the point, the weak point from earlier, and you can bring the building down. But I'm going to go ahead and let you describe how the scene looks for you.
Okay, right. So essentially, I see Cherka run over, and I sort of push myself halfway up and just yell at her, "Get out of here! Make sure everybody is okay. I'm taking care of this one." And I'll actually like push her away if she tries to argue, but I imagine she doesn't much.
No, not at all. She didn't want to come in here in the first place.
Right?
You
Yeah,
kidding?
yeah. So, yeah, she probably turns as soon as I look up and shake
Oh,
my
yeah.
head.
You're lucky she gave it all.
Right. I figured. Okay, so I'm going to essentially take my time in standing up, make myself look like I've taken quite a beating, which is not difficult because I've taken quite a beating.
Right.
And I'm actually going to sort of shuffle my way over to a more appropriate space, this robot coming at us. And I am just going to look up at it, swing my rifle around, fire at that support structure that's already been damaged, and sort of throw myself back around the other side of the robot so that when the building falls, it falls on the robot, slowing it down enough for me to run out of the way of all the rubble coming down.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, that happens. As you're going by, the building is collapsing, and you can hear the screeching of the metal and the rending of the materials, the building materials, as it hits the top of the droid. The droid begins to turn to follow you. You can see it beginning to suck in the power to use its arching beam again. But as the thing comes down, its legs begin to collapse. It hits it, and the legs kind of shock, and then the whole thing begins to collapse under the weight of the building, and the debris comes down, and it's clearly no longer going to be able to do much. You hear a high pitched like electronical whine as the energy in the batteries begin to dissipate, or whatever is powering the thing. And you were out of the way
as a
as
cool
the building.
Explosion?
Not yet.
All right.
But that may be coming.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep running.
So yeah, okay. After a few seconds, you've got a pretty good distance away, and I think it comes back to my turn. At this point, switching scenes ever so slightly, the core is ordering the SSH to open fire on the fleeing organics. That's you, Core.
Right.
Or that's you, SSH.
That's me, SSH. Okay.
Gonna go ahead and do the shutdown, or just gonna refuse the order?
Can I just shoot badly?
Yeah. Well, I don't think you really control them to that level. You give them the orders, but they're kind of on their own, much like the other droids were, throwing trees and whatnot. So if you give them the order to fire,
system?
Yeah, if you give them the order to fire, you could essentially shut down their targeting systems and see if that works. They'd be firing blindly into, whatever, but they would be essentially firing blinded. I'd say it would add 2 to their difficulty.
And they're at fairly far range, right?
Yeah, they're at long range.
So it would be very difficult for them to hit something.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know if the SSH could fire on a superior officer, even if it is a blind fire.
Right.
Being that he is an AI, I feel like that would go against some pretty hard programming.
Sure. All right. So you're not gonna you are gonna refuse the order then.
Can I have the SSH report back non-optimal firing position?
Yeah. Core will you report that back, and Core tells you to move them in and to open fire. Lay down a suppression fire.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I don't have very fine control over these droids. They're just waiting for permission, and they execute that permission to the best of their abilities.
Right. Yeah, they have their own agency essentially. You give them the orders, you give them a task to complete, they complete the task.
I mean, how stupid are they? Could I just run them full force into more buildings? And
They probably have collision avoidance, but
okay,
you could certainly get them headed in that direction. They don't know what they're going to hit until they get close. And some of them are pretty worn out. They might not have good avoidance systems anymore.
yeah, because I'm not sure I want to tip my hand yet.
Right.
Because they weren't really as useful as I was hoping they would be.
Right.
So at this point, I want to save them for if they send more guardians at us. So yeah, I'm going to have them close in, but I'm going to set a formation so that they are proceeding forward towards cover, basically. So if they do open fire, they're just going to hit more buildings, and they're going to charge down and hopefully run straight into said buildings.
Right. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. You don't need to even roll for that. So they start heading in that direction. You've got them moving full speed, and the rest of the group sees. I'm not sure how much the rest of the group knows what level of control you guys have over them, but essentially they are now these other 6 giant machines are running towards you, and the Sentinels don't really run. They're more of a lumbering, slow moving thing. The walkers over are really quite fast. So they actually move from long range to short range in one action. Not one action, but one round. So they're now about where the building that came down on the Sentinels, that's where they're in that now area. However, their avoidance systems do prevent them from running into any buildings. The Sentinels, however, are still lumbering, and they're going to take their sweet, sweet time to get anywhere. With that in mind, let's take a jaunt over to the core, where I believe Kaz and the captain are, and 5 security officers. Right?
Yep.
Yep.
So we got Kaz, we got Hage, and nameless warm bodies for murder facing.
Kaz would like to try to negotiate with the core for a ceasefire while we explain our position.
All right. What you gonna say?
Look, there's a misunderstanding. We have not taken action against you. We're here to explore. We apparently explored and discovered something you don't like, but we have taken no overt action. Just stop. I'm not saying stop permanently. I'm not asking you to shut down. Just stop while we discuss the situation, please.
Core, you seem like an eminently reasonable intelligence. I understand how hard it must be to have been out here all alone, and how scared you must be right now that something outside of your control is here threatening your delicate balance that you've maintained here for far too long on your own. I'm asking you, I'm begging you to give us a chance to prove to us that we can help you, that we can be allies to you, and that you don't need to, and that you should let us help you.
I'm gonna let the two of you guys give me a roll. This is Kaz was gonna start the encounter, so we'll let Kaz roll.
Control command, control science.
You could use. I would say you could use reason in command if you wanted, or, yeah.
Okay. I have a focus in negotiation, and I have diffused the tension. So on success, I'll get an extra moment.
Okay. And then Hage, obviously, you can assist.
Yeah, I'll assist with command and presence if that's all right.
Sure. So that is, I'm guessing, 3 successes or 4.
3 from me. I didn't see Paige's roll.
Paige
I
got one.
I got one.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
4
that is
successes.
4 successes. All right. The core has an introspective look on her face for a few seconds, and then reports that as you're talking to her, she states you hear her give the command to the SSH to intercept and open fire with the secondary droids, the sentinels and the walkers. You also can hear on a little screen. You can see the encounter coming from the perspective of the Guardians, and you see it as the one Guardian is crushed to death by Ambrose's large building, and the walkers and the sentinels begin moving in. You make your case, and the core tells SSH to Security Administration, please discontinue pursuit. Stand your ground.
Standing by.
You have time to make your case.
And if any of that was over the difficulty value, we get 1 more momentum.
Oh yeah. Let's see, that was 4, so the difficulty was 3. That gives you guys 2 more momentum. You have time now to make your case, but time is short.
Kaz will
I
look
have-
over to the
I have
captain
more Guardians en route.
to try and see if we can come up with something together.
Mhm. So I think the 2 of us can get our heads together and talk about. I think we should devise a plan, something that a computer would recognize as an efficient method of rehabilitation to get the station, especially its non-intelligent life, up and in full, back to full. You know what I mean?
Function.
We haven't gotten any a report from the field team at all, so we don't. Is that right? So we don't know any of what those robots told them, or did we get a briefing?
Yeah, there was a brief communication before the attack,
Yeah,
because
Okay.
that's
that
what
was
triggered
what.
the attack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were told that they resided here and that they're sentient.
Yeah, but not the whole thing about they can't perform their function because of the orders from
Yeah, you guys, they didn't go into that much detail.
yeah, so we don't know any of that.
You
No,
do,
just do that.
however, know that the core is it has some sort of semi-organic consciousness to it
Mhm.
Right.
as
Yeah.
well.
Which is why I'm trying to appeal to its emotion. But,
Knowing what we know, what if we, for our first step, turn it back on core and go, we have taken no actions against you. You have assumed intent on our part. What is your evidence for our hostility? And why would contacting more of the beings within your area be detrimental to you?
Ambrose did report that there was a veritable civil war going on.
Yeah, but we don't know why.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I think we should emphasize that we can help them with that. We can talk to these robots and figure out a solution that works for everyone.
Yep.
You know.
I like it. This is
Right.
what
So-
we do. We're a third party. We are neutral. We have demonstrated our willingness to help core. We've shown that we can be useful in this situation. You have not resolved the situation. We can help you resolve it. Something like that.
But let's also make sure we appeal to empathy, because I think it does have emotions, and I think it is scared right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's lashing out the way it is.
We have a plan.
Yeah. So we'll go to the computer and we'll tell them basically that. Core, we're we are a group of explorers from far away. We have seen all kinds of things, and we can help you sort out whatever it is that is causing your conflict with the robots. We can find a solution that is beneficial for everyone. I promise you this. What exactly is what is it that has caused you to turn again? What is the conflict you're having with the robot people?
The interfaces and secondary units have taken a position to attempt to bring to avoid the deactivation and dismantling of the organics, the high consumption organics. Their disobedience has resulted in larger swaths of the terrarium being being unable to be maintained by myself.
Well, since you won't be maintaining these areas by yourself, you're going to have our assistance. There's no need for conflict.
Yes, and we can, and I remember part of the issue being that their damage was them being damaged and decommissioned was doing further damage to the environment. We can prevent that. We can repair the robots and keep them from doing any further damage to the environment. We can bring this station back to its full functionality. It will be like when you were first commissioned. Do you remember those halcyon times?
The face kind of looks kind of into the distance, and the two of you can each give me a insight and command roll.
Does empathy apply?
Yeah.
How about cross-cultural collaboration or negotiation?
No, but I would say computer systems would.
Okay.
You're kind of taking it from the logical perspective, whereas
Nice.
Hage is looking at it from the other perspective.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's a lot of successes. Is that 6 successes between the two of you?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All
Give
right.
us those momentums. We're going to need them in a minute.
Yeah. So I give you those. You've got you had 6. You've got 2 left that you can spend on this action if you want to. After a few seconds of what you can clearly see as calculation, Kaz, the computer's clearly making some sort of high function calculation. Hage, what you see though is the face, the organic portions of the face, at least, in the eyes in particular. You see a shift in the emotional state thereof, and you actually see there's a couple of tears coming out of one of the eyes as it is performing this vast calculation. A return to the original programming would be ideal, however. And then the voice changes slightly to a softer, less mechanical tone. I'm just so tired.
Let us alleviate this burden for you. We can decommission you if that's what you'd like. You can rest assured that the station would flourish in our charge. If you'd rather stay and watch, we can remove you to a purely observatory role. So you will no longer have to. You will no longer be tired, and you can see your forest grow once again.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and step away from that one. We'll give you guys a chance to your to return to your extended task that we were doing earlier. But before we do that, let's go ahead and jump to the ship where some drama has been going on there. When we last left off, I believe power had failed on the ship. Is that what I said?
Yeah, like everything. I think they were trying to get life support
Right.
back
The
up
life
on the
support.
back on
That's what it
the.
was. Life support had been turned off. That's what
Right.
it was.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. So doctor, while you're in your ready room, not ready room, your office, you begin hearing the emergency systems for the sick bay, which are independent of the rest of the ship, semi-independent of the rest of the ship, begin activating. So all of the internal life support systems that are specific to maintaining viability of patients in sick bay begin powering on, which is a pretty good indicator that there's no more life support on the rest of the ship.
Right.
Your systems run on the secondary power, the secondary core, and so what are you gonna do, if anything?
Med Beta Bridge.
That's
It would be Lucius.
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Fox.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
What's the status?
Life support is out. We think it's something that a side effect of the computer issues that the chief engineer is working on. We've got damage control teams mobilized, but we really don't know what to do yet, sir.
Are you presently in charge of the ship?
Yes, 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 yes. I am in charge. Yes.
You have the con. It's not in charge of the
As he settles
Right.
into the big chair.
Let's get everyone into the med bay until this life support issue is resolved and we can't get anyone into anywhere.
As many as you can get anyway.
Everyone, sir.
As many as we can cram, we will be sardines.
All right, sir. I'll give the order except for the engineering and ops teams, of course.
Right. They should have their own, like, people should be able to use like their EV suits and yada yada to correct. Jeffrey?
Non-essential personnel should be
No.
headed towards you, and yeah, if they have
Right.
time, essential personnel can be putting on EV suits. But right now, Tong and the rest of the crew are doing their own thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it would take some time for like the air to bleed out of the ship.
Yes,
Oh,
it would take
yeah,
a
they're
while.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen like now, but
Yeah, no, and this ship is quite a bit larger than what the crew capacity is, so it actually has a lot more time than a normal ship of its size would have.
Right.
Which is where Lucius can go ahead and make me a command roll.
Okay.
This will be a control and command roll.
Hang on. I was not expecting to be using him tonight, so I don't have the sheet up. So just give
Trying to
me a
get
second.
everybody involved.
Awesome.
well, he does that. Would it be reasonable to or reasonable and possible, I suppose, to shut down non-essential parts of the ship and like essentially what I'm like braining is like essentially push the oxygen inward into essential places
Right, so
to
closing
prolong.
off decks and pumping air into them so that you have more time.
Yeah.
It is possible. It would be part of the like, we're all going to die protocols that are in there.
Okay.
Will you communicate that to Coster? Because I think he'd be the one who'd actually do that.
Right.
What did you want from Falks?
Give me control and command.
Okay. 13. Combat maneuvers, helm operations, or strategy and tactics?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Okay. 2.
2.
Okay. Target is 13.
All right. Well, you got one success, which is all you need.
Okay.
as you're going, as you're looking looking at the command's council stuff, around the big chair and what's going on, you'll note that there appears to be a sequence countdown that is going on. It looks like the computer is trying to find a way to override the airlock system.
Oh boy. Falks will report this to Kostra very quickly.
Okay. Coster's gonna get right on that shit. He's gonna double command code lock it, so that way it cannot be. He's gonna take the airlocks completely off of automated controls. They can only be unlocked manually.
Okay. Give me a command. No, what? That's control and engineering.
Okay.
Difficulty be 2.
I'd like to spend a momentum on this. That is 2 successes.
Okay. You managed to disconnect the airlock systems. Lucius, as you see the countdown stop, the system begins, like you can kind of see where the different systems that the computer is trying to access to be able to do whatever it's going to do. But so far it's been unable to access anything else due to the isolation that you guys did earlier. Which brings us back to Tong, or Onette, if she wants to talk to Kostra about her plan. Either one.
Yes. Before we go back to, before she talks to Kostra, how the Hollows, are they part of Eva or are they separate from Eva?
They are separate.
Okay.
So like the doctor, the doctor and the SSH are not an aspect of Eva. They are their own entities, their own programs.
Right. Okay.
Considered to be semi-artificial intelligence.
Right. I think at this point she wouldn't necessarily have reason to talk to Kostra.
Okay.
If Falks is in charge, she would relay to Falks her suggestion to shut down non-essential areas of the ship and pump air into essential areas to prolong the life support we have.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, Falks will get on that.
And
Right.
he can relay that wherever it needs to go.
Fox isn't in charge.
But Falks, he seems to think she's in charge, and nobody told Savi otherwise. So she's running with this ensign is running the ship.
So far as Savi knows, Kostra could be dead somewhere.
Right.
He just saved the ship.
Kostra or Koba.
So does Fox want to talk to Kostra about that, or just going to kind of do it?
He's just going to kind of do it.
Okay.
He figures one.
That's a conversation for Ambrose later.
Yeah. Well, Kostra's busy, and yeah, when the doctor gives an order about life support,
Right.
he's going to do that first, and ask for
engineer first.
He's busy saving the ship from. All right, so Tong,
I think
you are
actually hold on. I will retcon that order to get everyone into the med bay because I think I did not realize how not as quickly the oxygen is going to run out.
Right.
I will show. So instead of get everyone, let's get as many non-essential personnel into the med bay as we can, so that if we can't get life support systems back online in time, as many people as we can get in place are already in place, and we're scrambling less if that time comes.
Okay.
So Tong, you are in a ship that has its own life support system, so you're okay there.
Yeah.
And you're currently working to disconnect the ship and the ship from the other, disconnect the air wing from the Europa, and to try to get the program trail or worm or whatever it is going to be that's going to bring Eva back to the arrow wing. So you've already made quite a bit of progress doing this, and then Kostra just kind of left on you to go solve the rest of the ship's problems by himself, because I don't know why. You don't know why. It's just, it is what it is. So go ahead and give me another roll to make that progress, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I imagine, since I've pretty much completely disconnected the arrow wing, almost. Tong might not even notice that anything else is wrong. He's just on the inside of the ship, working away, whistling some Ferengi tune, and the rest of the ship is like on emergency light support. Blue lights are flashing. People are running all over the place.
Tom's just taking a sweet time to make sure everything's right.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. So, sorry, what am I rolling?
You're going to roll whatever you think fits most appropriately, but probably something along the lines of control and engineering. Your difficulty is 1 because, oh, well, no, I guess it's still technically 0 because we're still in the same, that's still technically the same scene as when he's used a jury rig. So your difficulty is 0. Your resistance is 0. Your work has already been completed. So you just need to get 5 or more. You need to get successes. You need to get any number of successes. Even 1 success is good enough, which will give you momentum. And then you need to make a roll using your engineering skill. So first you got to roll the 2d20 like normal.
Okay.
Or,
and
however many you want to roll.
I just need 1 success, right?
Yeah, you just need any success level.
Control engineering, that's a 16 or lower. Remind me, do my electroplasma power systems come into play? Are we doing enough with power?
Yeah, since you're trying to make sure everything's disconnected and free, I'll let it work 1 time. That'll
Okay.
work. Nice.
Yeah, that is actually 2 successes if I have a focus.
2 successes, and so that's good. So you have 2 momentum to spend on this action. So now you roll your engineering skill plus 2 in d6s.
Okay. So that is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Roll those in d6s.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes, and you have 2 momentum that you can still use to do things like any of the things that momentum can do for this. So you can re-roll any of the work that you want to. Then either like the 1, 3 that you, the 1, 3 and 1, 4 that you rolled, you could re-roll them if you wanted to. You can do two additional work, which wouldn't get you to 10.
Yeah.
That's, I think, really about all you can do.
Yeah, so either way, I'm not getting to 10, so none of those really help me, right?
Right.
So we can just bank that last momentum at the very least.
Right. Additional work, resistance, and reroll. Yep, that's pretty much all you can do. So we'll bank those 2, which really only banks 1.
Yeah.
You get 1 more magnitude. You have 2 magnitude to go. Back on the planet. Or, well, on the not planet, but you know what I mean.
I thought it was 1 magnitude for success and then another magnitude for 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. You're correct.
So we only have 1 magnitude to go.
So you have 1 magnitude left to
All right.
go.
And
Yep,
there's
you're
no
correct.
way we can get that extra 3 work. All right.
Well, no, there is.
Oh.
But Tong would have to have determination, which I don't think Tong has yet.
No.
Okay.
I'm just a supporting character.
Right. Because with the determination, you could basically get 2 more successes.
Gotcha. Oh well.
All right, so that brings us back to the planet Nambros and whatnot. As you guys are heading out, you as you're getting away from the building that has collapsed, the walkers and the sentinels come sprinting towards where that was. The walkers get to where the crumbled building was, and the sentinels are kind of just taking their sweet time. I assume the rest of you are kind of continuing to move out of the area along with the droids, kind of evacuating the combat zone.
My primary concern is making sure that Mills is all right and laying down suppressing fire. Like, I might not even be aiming. I'm just holding my rifle behind me and firing and making sure that Mills is okay.
Okay.
Mills is peachy. Looking better than you.
Oh, right. That you held a droid up in front of the laser
Yes.
beam that hit you. That's right. You're fine. All right.
Well,
In that case,
No,
I
I
am
ducked in the
hobbling my
missile, hit the droid
half-dead
behind
self.
me.
Okay.
Right.
while she's fleeing, Chirka will be looking, using the drone to like look for any more of those big ones coming this way as
Right,
well,
okay.
to make sure the path is clear.
So you have the drone in front of you, and as it's it's a good ways in front of you, so you have enough time to make a choice. As it crests the hill, because there's always hills to crest, so you can see things. You find two more of the guardians, but they don't appear to be moving at the moment.
Commander, I've got bad news.
Well, don't keep me waiting.
Well, we're walking towards two more of them.
Well, let's change our direction then.
I would think that there's only so many places we could go now because we think that the Sentinels are chasing us, and then the big ones are in front of us.
Right.
Right. I mean, we are kind of in a gigantic open ring, right?
Right.
Oh. Chirka, this place has infrastructure right underneath, tunnels we can get into, other maintenance hatches. Can we get underground? You
That's
find
a
us a
good
route
idea.
underground.
Yeah, let me see if I can find something. And she'll break out her tricorder and try and find an opening.
Yeah. Give me control science.
Sensors count? Okay. I will spend a momentum. Kick ass. That is
Nice.
Nice.
that is 3 successes plus, or 4 successes plus a bonus momentum.
Okay. That is plenty enough. Refill your momentum. Yes, you find a location approximately 20 feet underground that would make a good hiding space. You find an entrance cap to it as well with some of your momentum. However, it is currently covered in soil, so you will have to find a way to get to it, either dig to it or phaser to it or whatever.
Phaser. just wide beam squared. That's a minimum setting.
Well, vaporizing dirt is actually a slightly higher setting, but it's certainly capable within the capability of the weapon.
Sure.
So yeah, the Chirka points out where it's at, and I assume Ambrose is just gonna be like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you vaporize a good chunk of space, and there you find a hatchway that goes down, and you can begin moving people down into that.
Yeah. Again, I'm trying my best to lead, to corral our new robo friends,
Right.
and make sure, like, I will be, again, I'm gonna get cut in half by a laser for this. I'm gonna be the last one down the hole.
Right. Okay, so you're getting everybody down there. Hage and Kaz, go ahead and give me a negotiating roll to try to get that last magnitude for your conversation that you were having with Core earlier.
Control
Ow.
command.
Can we just assume at this point that with things having, like the firing having stopped, O'Connor would have come out of cover and. Okay.
I assume O'Connor's running with the group.
Are
Okay.
one of us rolling and one of us assisting?
Yes.
I think we were switching off before, and I think it was my turn this time.
Yeah, you lead.
Okay. I would like to spend a momentum.
Okay.
Oh. But how many breakthroughs do we need still?
You'd need one.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, one should be enough then. That is 3 successes. 4 successes.
4
Wow.
successes.
Five total because my focus applies. So
Okay. So that gives you a crap load of momentum. Your difficulty was 2, resistance is also 2. So you've got 2 momentum because you had 5, right? So you have 3 momentum. Go ahead and make the command +2 roll.
command +2. That's 8 or 7.
7. I don't think anybody has any 6s or anything.
Oh, shit. I keep rolling off of the table. This is more infuriating than when there's an actual table.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So
I
2,
don't know if
3,
it'll
4, 5, 6, 7. What's that, Evelyn?
I don't know if it'll help you, Brian. What I've been doing is like finding comparable skills on my sheet and just rolling on to Savi's sheet with the whatever the correct number would be.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah.
You can also, like, when you got to roll the d6s, you can just, I just change the number under weapon, and click it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all successes, so that's 8. That was weird too. You've got 8 successes and you got 3 momentum. What do you want to do with that? I mean, it's going to get you your 1 either way.
You know what? Let's make it. There's one that like it's like a glorious success. What is it? I forget the exact terminology.
Oh, I don't remember the terminology. I think that's in the Klingon book.
Extravagant? No, it's in the main book. It's you can spend a success to make it like look real damn good.
Right.
I would like to make it look impressive. Like I would love this to be something that like the crew talks about. You know.
Okay. All right. So you it would basically be you're basically getting like a more advanced negotiated in your favor kind of deal. Okay. Yeah, you succeed at that. As you're talking to Core, you're reasoning with Core and whatnot, and eventually, she just kind of looks at the two of you, and if it is the will of the sentience that this station be remanded to your custody, then Core can no longer deny the inevitability of its position. And the Core kind of shuts down. You see the blue lights kind of dim, and it goes into a relaxed state. SSH, you find that you no longer have any connection to the Core. That tenuous connection, that strain that you were having earlier, when she was obviously trying to insist heavily towards you, that is gone. You are now as if there was no other additional entity there.
Can he take control of the Guardians?
Control of the Guardians, no, but you still have control of the Sentinels. You have total control now over the Sentinels and the Walkers. The you would have to go in farther, like you'd have to be given access to it.
Sure.
But
do I know where the Guardians are?
yes.
Okay, then I'm just going to form the Walkers and the Sentinels in a line between the away team and the Guardians.
Okay. So Ambrose, as you are laying down some covering fire, the Walkers and the Sentinels change direction and start heading directly towards the Guardians. In what is clearly to you a defensive formation.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you are, making your way down into the hole, back to the ship. Tong, go ahead and give me one more roll.
Okay. Control engineering. I just need 1 success, right?
That's all you need.
All right. That's
All right.
Yeah.
That's 3 successes.
Okay, and you can still roll. Go ahead and roll the thing just to do it.
6.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is enough. You'd also have 2 more. That would give you 10 if you really wanted to, which would give you an additional magnitude, which would give you 7 total. No, 8.
All right.
7 total. Yeah, 7 total, 8 total. Whatever. I give you enough. You have plenty.
All right,
Um,
I complete the task.
you complete the task. So um, while you are finishing up what you're doing, you begin running the test routine. Everything looks good. You click the button, and you know now for sure that you can transfer Eva over whenever you're ready.
That's something that Tong has control of.
Yeah, it's all on your end. Oh well, the arrow wing is all set up to do it. So yes.
Yeah, I feel like Tong, being an ensign, would at least try to contact his superiors. I don't know if I don't know if he knows that communication has been cut. I don't remember, but he's going to try anyway.
Okay.
Tong to the captain. Is this thing working? Did we figure this out yet?
There are no. You get that chirp.
Captain? Well, I mean, this is important, so I should probably do it, right? This is very important. I spent all this time working on this, so there's no reason not to do it. I feel like I should do this. Beep.
No one's gonna stop me. No one. All right, sure, I'm doing it. Boop. The arrow wing begins to, you hear all the computers, the systems wind up and the clicking and whatnot of relays and whatever. It sounds in the very 1950s, or it's Whopper is coming online, and after a few seconds, the command line appears, and it says Eva, and it's Eva ? Which you would know from early on that is Eva request. Eva is asking what is next. Essentially, you have Eva online, although she may not be fully downloaded yet. She's still kind of in the process.
Okay. Yeah, Tong, I guess, will just type into the LCARs. Stand by, you are being rescued! !
I feel the need to then send back a heart emoji Tong. All right. With that,
Before we move, you're planning on closing out the scene, I presume?
I was going to move back to the doctor, but go ahead. And what did you want to
Oh, that's where I was going to ask to move back to.
do? Okay. What do you got?
I thought they were going to move back to station. So Dasavi will pull. I just had this list in front of me. Delphine, Vega, and where did my list go? Here we go. Delphine, Vega, Samar, and Mar into her office.
Did
I'm not
we ever
entirely certain.
Did we ever actually determine whether Ranul was actually on this ship or not?
I think we determined that.
Oh, I didn't know he wasn't potentially on the ship.
Because he was kind of redundant, so I don't know if we kept him or not.
Oh, that's the other counselor.
Yeah.
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 I think we figured he can be there.
Okay, cool,
He'll be
yeah.
used when he's necessary.
Awesome. Gotcha.
And yeah, since you're going to be losing your counselor and your helmsman as well in a couple of weeks.
True.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so Dasabi will look at the four of you. 4, 3, however many of there. Yeah, 4 of you. I'm not entirely certain what has happened. Life support has gone down on the ship. We are routing all non-essential personnel, as many as we can, into the sick bay for the time being. People are going to be scared. They're going to be stressed. They're going to be cramped. They're going to need calming demeanors. Mar, I know you're not a counselor. Delphine, I know you're not as well. However, you both have very calm presences. You're both familiar with incredibly stressful situations. I'm going to need you to pull on those skills and help keep everyone from panicking.
Of course, Doctor. I do have some years of experience in this regard.
I can be an incredibly calming presence when I want to.
Well, hopefully you will choose to want to now because we're going to need it.
Yes, of course.
All
right.
Dismissed. Go do what you do.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Let's go back to Kostra now. Kostra, you are basically, the way I envision this right now is you basically have like 6 or 7 things like going on all at once. You've been trying to help Tong get the Eva back online, been trying to reroute everything, all the functions to the secondary core to get it away from the primary core. You've been trying to regain life support. You've been trying to prevent the ship from opening all the doors.
His shirt is just gone, like his uniform off. He's just in his white beater now. So
okay, give me a roll to attempt to regain communications and to find. We're gonna do 2 rolls. One to regain communications. Actually, you know what to do? We'll do it as one. We'll raise. I will use my threat to raise the difficulty by 1. So the difficulty is going to be 4 then. And what you're going to do is you're going to make 1 roll to basically shift everything over to the secondary core because the secondary core is still functional. So basically turning off the primary core as much as you can because there's biomechanical stuff in there, so you can't really turn it totally off, but you know what I mean. Shunting everything over and getting the ship back online. God damn it.
this cloud sniffing backup better work. And then there's of course a big lever that needs to be pulled. So he's going to reach up, he's going to grab that lever, pull it to the final step. What do you think? Daring engineering?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
By 2.
Yeah.
You're full up.
I'll buy 2.
All right. Okay.
Well, that is 3 successes.
3. And a complication, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna still let it succeed. Did I say 3? I said 4. I said it was 3. I said it was 4. But anyway, all right. But anyway, I'm gonna let it succeed because that's where we're at. But there's gonna be a complication, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be succeeding at a cost. So the complication and the cost are both gonna be related. As you pull the lever, a big spark happens, and you hear all the things shunting and panels blowing up, various places of the ship. However, the power comes back online, the communications, you can hear the communicator chirp back online, and then you hear the warp core power down.
Oh.
So that is your complication, and your some panels exploding is the complication that I gave, and the at a cost will be the warp core shuts down. So
his curse rings throughout the ship. You could hear it in deck 3.
But not
Lucius.
in the Arrow Wing, where Tom is currently listening to some F-pop or Ferengi pop.
Or on the bridge where Falks is in
Popping
control.
away.
Fox, though, you note that you now have communications back online and that your engines are no longer online. But command has been restored to the bridge.
Okay. Well, Kostra is going to go down to the warp core, see if he can get that rebooted.
Right. Yeah, that's just a normal process. It just takes time.
Okay. Well, he'll oversee it because he's this is his ship. Damn it.
Right. So yeah, Ambrose and Hage, you guys are both back aboard the station. Chirka is with Ambrose, so Chirka probably noticed it first. The tricorder regains connection to the Europa.
Commander, we have access to the ship again.
Good. I wonder if that means we can patch us back through to the captain. Empress DeHage, can you read me?
I hear you loud and clear, Commander. We were watching it all here on the view screen. Everybody there doing okay? It looked like a rough fight.
I look down at my completely obliterated uniform and stifle back a groan. Everyone's good here, sir. We've made it through. I believe there was one civilian casualty. Unfortunately, everyone else seems to be fine. We're taking cover. I think that's as much as I would like to say over open channels at this point. Figure that's what went wrong. I didn't really have time to come up with a better way of communication. The smaller droids, they're not advancing. They're taking up a defensive position for us. Do you know what that's about? Have you gotten through to the core?
We're talking with Cora, but from what I can tell, our holographic security officer is slow walking the robots.
All right. Good. It did look like they were operating less efficiently than they really should have. All right, we're secure here for now, sir. I'm gonna hold position until you let me know everything's all right over there. Jericho also said we have connection with the ship. I haven't contacted there. I figured you were priority.
Okay, well, beam out the civilians if you can. If the ship's transporters are operational, and after that, you should come to the core. I think we may have found the resolution of our issue, but I know you'll want to be on hand in case anything goes wrong.
Do we know if our systems can be trusted? I don't want our atoms scattered across the outside hall of this station. It might be safer to take a shuttle.
If you think that wise, Commander, I'll trust your judgment. If you think that prudent.
I'm sure time is still a factor. I'll contact Kostra and see what he advises.
Okay.
So I will disconnect that call and then chirp again for Kostra. Commander Ambrose to Kostra, come in.
What is it, Commander? I've gotten the ship back up and running. What more do you want from me?
Well, I could use a ride.
Oh, okay. I'll send a gold-plated limousine to come pick you up.
All right, that'd be great as long as that gold-plated limousine has some transporters that work.
All right. I'll get Tong on it.
Just make sure our communications can be trusted. Make sure our system is our own. If it's not, I will take an actual transport.
We'll get you back one way or the. We'll get you back even if you have to jump.
I'd rather not. That's very unpleasant.
That was a joke. Kostra. He'll call Tom and ask him to teleport them over.
Right. Well, those conversations are happening. O'Connor will kind of look around and shake her head and kind of snap out of it and realize that Ambrose is injured and pull out her little field med kit and just doesn't say anything to you, just walks over with a hypo and just starts fixing you.
Walks over the hypo. Sleep. All right. So she's tending to Ambrose's burns and various face shrapnels. Kostra.
Have a branch sticking out of my shoulder.
Kostra, you can go ahead and contact Tong and let Tong know he needs to do what he's got to do. Because I don't think Tong even realizes that anything else has happened.
Nope, he's still bopping away in the arrow wing.
So, yeah, I mean, the ship seems up and running. Yeah. So I guess the beam goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking forward to the. I kind of wanted to see Tong's reaction to when everything is like, oh, wait, what?
Oh. Tom, get your big ears on that teleporter.
Oh, aye, sir. Everything's taken care of down here. We have Eva nice and cozy in the arrow wing. We are all good to go. We bringing everybody back now.
Yeah, teleport them over, and then if you can find time before your medal ceremony, get those others beamed back over.
It's going to be a medal ceremony, sir.
That was sarcasm,
Oh.
Jensen. Just get them over.
There might be.
There's an audible sigh. Yes, sir.
No.
And he scampers out
You
of
broke
the
his little
fully lit up arrow wing and into the rest of the ship. I mean, at this point, I imagine we're off emergency power, right? Like everything's back to more or less normal.
Yeah, you're just running off the secondary core is all.
Yeah, so he doesn't even notice anything's wrong. He's still whistling to himself as he's sort of just bopping down the hallway. Heads over to his transporter pad and
All right. So
plays with the sliders.
transport is now fully available. You have the guy behind the counter, and you guys can beam where you want with no ill effects. Unless you're doing something really stupid, and then I'll make you roll. But so far, standard transporting you'll be fine.
Okay. So I believe the standing order was to get everybody else back to the ship and Ambrose to core.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll do that.
What about Kaz? Is Kaz going to be staying in the core, or is Kaz going back to the ship?
The captain. I mean, that she'd want to stay until it's done.
Yeah, we're still going to figure out what needs to be done with core, I think.
Okay.
maybe
Mills
we
will
could-
request to stay as well, just to serve as extra backup.
That's a good call. We should have, we should
Yep.
have.
Have everybody here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense to have Mills along. Yeah.
And then Mills. So there you go. That is the group that is currently. That is the command staffiest command staff part of the group. So.
Yeah. So also because we are modern day Star Trek and not 1990s Star Trek, Ambrose is just going to give up on the tattered remains of his shirt and play onto his contractually obligated one shirtless scene per season.
Right. Unfortunately, the CGI artists didn't want to come in for this one, but putting all your electronics on.
I mean that it is. I mean,
Probably flesh toned, eh?
yeah, it's a biosynthetic. I believe is
okay.
not Nog's fake leg was, from what I understand, indistinguishable from an actual biological leg.
Yeah,
So
that's
I don't
true.
think there's a lot of it's not like Cyberpunk where you have a whole
Right.
like claw unit. I'm not a Borg.
Yet.
Not with
Yes.
that attitude.
Not with that attitude. All right, so you've beamed over. The four of you are now in the core. The core appears to be, as I said before, have mostly shut down. It's just kind of very dim blue eyes and the whirring and beeping sounds that were so intensive earlier on for all of its heavy function calculations are not present.
I'm going to lean over to Cass and say, Cass, can you disengage core systems completely disconnected from the station?
I could certainly try, sir. And she would like to certainly try.
Give me a roll.
And then I'm going
Okay.
to tell Core. I'm going to tell Core what we're doing. This is not a surprise.
Right. I'm going to say this is going to be daring and either science or engineering.
Science. I mean, her engineering's pretty good, but it's a 2-point difference.
You know, sorry. Actually, can I suggest an interjection here?
Yeah.
We kind of passed over the whole indigenous AI moment. Do we want to bring that interface unit or whatever it's called here as like a proper, get both heads of the opposition in the same room and talk it out?
I think where we are is that
Are we
Core's
past that?
yeah,
All right.
Core's going to rise. So
All right. I'll have a
Of course,
conversation
Chris
with them when this scene is over.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
okay. Cautious science. I can re-roll if I buy with momentum. So I would like to do that.
And can I assist with advisor?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'd like to re-roll the 20.
That's good because I have a complication in
Wise
mind.
choice.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a lot of successes. 4 successes.
4.
Plus the assist, 6 successes.
Yeah, and you can reroll if you want.
All right. Okay, that's all the successes that are even remotely possible. So, you do manage to disconnect the as you are disconnecting the core. You note that the only function that is left on core at the moment is the stabilization of the power system. You can disconnect core completely. Doing so, though, will require someone to be here to maintain the power system, or else that black hole is going to spin out of control and kill everyone.
Mhm.
You can do it, but that's the you could probably write a program that would stabilize it temporarily, at least.
Yeah.
Is that something the SSH could help with? He has
Yeah,
just
you
a
could probably,
copy anyway.
right. You could.
Oh, yeah.
It would essentially be using up the majority, if not all, of that program's processes to do so. But yes, like he would essentially, that would be his job now on the station.
Well, that seems like a perfect solution, because otherwise we'd have a spare SSH copy to figure out what to do with.
Yeah, and he'd only need to hold down the fort until we can get an actual Starfleet team out here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
And-
perfect.
I imagine all the holograms are just like copies of each other anyway, so it's just like making yet a new SSH individual.
Pretty much.
Hologram of a hologram.
Yeah. Reproduced by holographic budding.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's all copy paste, really.
Yeah.
Just
How many
copy paste the
holograms
next
do you
one.
want? Control V, Control V, Control V.
Right.
So, with that done, tell me if this is doable. I would like to take core, like the brain that is core, and put it in the drone we've been using, so that way it can fly around the station and observe its force that I love so much.
That would probably not be possible at the moment, anyways. Maybe at some point.
Big program in a tiny drone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a giant program in a tiny drone. Itty bitty living space. Phenomenal cosmic power.
Then can I take core and like give it the drone's propulsion systems, so that way the actual mechanical system is able to fly around and observe.
It might be possible. You could also just set up a couple of different. There's a couple of different ways you could do what I think what you're trying to do to give it the freedom to go do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Before you do that, though, you'll note that the core does not really appear to be functional at the moment. Like, it is still online, but only kind of. Like, it hasn't responded since it said it was turning over control. It has not moved or spoken or anything.
Can I sense anything with my empathics? Did it like just kill itself, or?
You definitely sense that there is the biological sense is still there, but it's becoming distant. Kind of the sense you would get if someone was just kind of aging out of life, kind of thing.
Disengaging,
yes.
Captain, Lieutenant, we may be losing the organic consciousness of the commuter. I think it's giving up after all this time.
Can we transfer it into the arrow wing now that we've transferred Eva out of there?
Oh, Eva's stuck in the arrow wing. That's going to take probably weeks of getting her out of there.
I don't think that's a good idea for a couple of reasons. I think we should just let it be. I mean, if it chooses to let go of life, that's its choice as a sentient being.
I would agree. I just figured you'd want to know.
Yes, no, I do, and that is worth knowing. I'd like to just give it the ability to move if it wants, so it can stay here on the station. Not give it the power to interact with any of the systems, and if it decides it would rather shuffle off this mortal coil, then we'll let it. That's its choice.
That sounds right, sir.
Okay.
We'll give it time. It does. It won't have to make a decision here soon. So we'll let its life has radically changed for the first time in thousands of years. There's going to be an adjustment period, no matter what it decides to do.
Sir, is there risk if the biological function chooses to fade out completely that the mechanical function would then take over entirely and run essentially without the emotional component that
Maybe, but
has brought us to
but
this
even if
point?
that happens, it'd be powerless.
Yeah, Kaz has already disconnected it from everything, so.
Yeah.
The station is now basically just running on its own. It is now an uncontrolled environment. It will grow or shrink based on its own whatever evolution until more changes.
We'll
It's
have
its
to
own
bring a
entropy.
whole Starfleet Corps of Engineers team in here to
Right.
make
Yeah.
sure.
With that, there's not much else to happen aboard station other than I think Ambrose wanted to talk to the abandoned.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do that.
The captain will make it clear before that conversation. Just if they want to stay on the station, don't stop them. If they want to ride somewhere, that's fine too. Whatever they want, we can accommodate.
Of course. I think, good intentions aside, we did take a side, sir. It was kind of forced on us, but we played a pivotal part in this society's development.
Well,
it's up to them if they want our continued help, but we are at this point responsible.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure they know that.
Yes. You've developed a rapport with them, so I'll leave that to you.
Hopefully.
With him to make sure 227 doesn't explode him.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Captain, do you have plans for what we're doing next? Do you know how long we might be able to stay here and provide them assistance? Where they were staying was quite thoroughly decommissioned.
If they feel they need our help, we can leave a team here for the follow-up team to rendezvous with. But see what they need, and then we'll accommodate. If they need our help, we'll do what we can.
All right. I'll head over there. Yeah, I suppose we'll beam back to wherever we left them.
There are other abandoned settlements that we could beam them to, sir.
I suppose we did only find one of what is probably many. This is a whole small world here. We haven't seen most of it.
Very true.
So let's beam back over there and have a talk with 227.
All right. You get back 227, and he's helping some of the other droids, like disassemble some of the ones that are less functional, and try to bring some of the ones that were damaged in the run and whatnot.
All right. Yeah, I walk up. I'm not even holding my rifle. It's just slung over my back. Arms just sort of like out to the side.
Mm-hmm.
227, how are your people faring?
They are alive. More of them than would have been. I judged you incorrectly, Master Ambrose.
It was a fair judgment at the time. I'm glad we could rectify that, though. From what I understand, the core has been decommissioned. There may still be some consciousness left, but I don't think it has much control of the station. It seems your people have won this war.
He kind of looks around. But did we? The station now suffers from the station is now subject to the entropy that it has long been fighting.
The plan is to bring Starfleet personnel here and help rebuild the station and repopulate it.
If that's what you want for your people and your society, we are still outsiders here.
We would be willing to at least begin the process, but it is my understanding that organics believe that death is an essential aspect of life. Sooner or later, this station will need to have its last day.
That may be true. And between you and me, I think we're on the same page. But there are many people where I come from who very much want to get a look at what you have here, if only in their best intentions to preserve its history, your history. My people value diversity and inclusiveness. We seek out new life and new civilization, such as your own, and hope to work together so that we can both see a more enlightened future.
In our gratitude, we will share with you what we have for as long as we have it.
Do you need any immediate assistance with rebuilding? I'm not sure how much our ship can spare at the moment, but we may be able to leave some personnel, some power generators, some fabricators, small scale, to assist your people before more representatives of the Federation arrive.
I cannot speak for all my people, but this group here is well provisioned for the moment. I will reach out to the other groups of the abandoned, and we will, for the first time, try to find a way to work together now that we do not have to live in fear of the core.
It will probably take several weeks for more Federation to show up here. I hope in that time that you can help unify your people. Find somebody, if not yourself, to speak to us on your collective behalf.
We will find answers. You are welcome here, Ambrose, and your Federation.
I'll be back to visit. There's a lot more to this place to see. And when there aren't giant robots trying to cut me in half, it actually looks quite peaceful.
Well, I suspect with the Guardians being offline, there may be a great deal more resources for my people than we had originally thought.
I suppose that's true. Well, I hope you thrive in this new environment. We'll be in touch.
And I hope you thrive where you go next. He just kind of nods a bit and goes back to working on his little droid companion.
All right.
But just before we beam out, Mills will reach down and smile and pat the little droid that she had picked up on the head.
Okay. He kind of beeps and whirs in a happy way, kind of bounces. Wally. So yeah. You guys beam back to the ship?
Yeah.
I I assume Hage was going to be back, or do you have something else you were going to do?
I would like to do one little vignette
Sure.
before Hage beats back. I think he is committed to outfitting the core with some kind of propulsion system.
Sure.
So he's gonna he's good with gizmos, so he can whip something up pretty quickly, I think. And when it's done, he's just gonna put his hand on core,
Mhm.
and he's going to say, "Just enjoy retirement. You've earned it."
Okay.
And then he's going to walk over to a window, look out over the decaying forest, and say, "Man, I miss away missions." And then he'll just be back.
Okay. That sounds like a good place to end it. But if anybody else has anything they want to do that's kind of an after action sort of thing, we can certainly do more. Since we only did 2.5 hours.
Yep. I think that's great.
All right.
Does anybody bring a souvenir back for Tong?
I have a feel like after inside the ship scenes, that denouement, if you will. I would like Hage to speak with Ambrose. We can do that either tonight or next week, or whatever you want to do.
It's up to you guys. I have time. I don't work tomorrow.
Dasavi's got an exasperated conversation she's gonna have with the captain about an ensign being in charge of the whole ship.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
just because we're off the station doesn't mean the episode's over. I think there's a lot of after action stuff we can
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we can definitely do that. Can we do Hage and Ambrose first, though?
Yeah, whatever order you guys want to do it. We're now on your guys' time. I have no more story. It is up to you to take it how you want to.
Okay. Well, we'll do 3 hours of that.
Evelyn will fall asleep in about 20 minutes, but
Hey,
you got time.
I'm ready.
I slept really well last night. I've gotten till like 11,
Perfect.
maybe like 10:30.
Tell you what, let's go ahead and take 5 and
Yeah.
come back to it. That way we have a natural breaking point where we're at.
That sounds good. Get some more coffee. Turn on some lights. Just realized I was in the darkness. I'm so enthralled. I didn't see the night had come.
I was wondering if your power had gone out, but you seemed
No.
content, so I didn't say anything.
I just assumed the geese had cut the power and were coming in.
Yeah.
All right, 5 minutes.
I'll be back.
All right, so we were left off. We were going to do a scene between Ambrose and Hage. Is that what we're doing?
Mhm.
Oh, if you don't mind us starting off with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think Hage and Ambrose would have a debrief after the last mission in the captain's ready room. Hage would offer him a drink. I forget what your favorite. I forget what you drink, Arani. What do you want to wet your whistle?
I feel like I did determine this at some point back when the last time you offered me something offensive like
Cardassian
Cardassian
wine.
something, yeah.
You put English breakfast tea in the doc.
Yeah, that's his sort of that's his relaxing drink.
Okay. Well, he'll
Yeah, we'll go with that.
replicate you one, and so we should talk about that mission. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty big success. We ran into trouble, but everybody that I saw handled themselves. What about your team? Anything?
Once I separated from you, sir, yes, the rest of the away team performed well.
Good.
They were caught in a situation where most of them, besides Mills, was well out of their element. They held themselves together.
Good. That's good to hear. I wasn't blowing smoke up your ass when I said I was glad to have a team leader in charge there who I had confidence in. You are very experienced, and I really appreciate having a cool head in charge of situations like that.
Despite how it went down, I am glad I was there. Mills performed very well. She's quite a shot,
Good.
but it's a lot to put on a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to put on a young lieutenant.
Yes. I'm glad to hear she performed well. Yeah, was there anybody you had any doubts about on your team?
Everest leans back in his chair and sort of folds his arms, sort of bites at his lower lip. No, sir, no complaints on my team, sir.
Good. Cass performed well as at the core center.
I'm glad she was there.
Me too. She's very competent. I don't think there's anybody who knows their way around hyper computer systems like her.
And she has a way with, I guess, the diplomacy of computers.
That's
Not-
an interesting way to put it.
Not my area, but she works well with Eva. And I can see how that could translate to this core situation.
Well, excellent.
I also admit you were, of course, invaluable over there, sir, with your own expertise in computer systems and diplomacy. It could have went very different if we didn't have your experience there behind us. But sir, I think we bungled that situation by going in way too quickly, way too curiously.
Really, you think so? What do you believe was the cause of the bungle?
I said it in the field, sir, and I stick to it. I hope you'll allow the minor insubordination, but I think you put your own curiosity ahead of the welfare of the ship, your crew, the ideals of Starfleet. We radically changed the course of a civilization down there. A failing civilization, sure. But that station had been going on for thousands of years without us. We show up for one day and barely make it out on our own, let alone changing the entire way of life for everything that happened there. I think it'll turn out for the better. I hope that cooler heads in Starfleet will prevail, and this becomes a haven for science and first contact with a new civilization. But this is technology far beyond what we would naturally have at this point. It's a civilization we know very little about. It's a civilization we have very little precedence to know anything about. And we stumbled ahead blindly.
I've always found the human preoccupation with progress interesting. We have no such concept. For us, it's life tends to just be one big continuum. The station's not above us technologically. It's just something we haven't figured out yet. We will, and there's no. The Prime Directive states that we shouldn't interfere in the internal politics of a situation. I'll admit, we didn't know about the robots when we arrived, but us helping them was not a Prime Directive violation by a long shot.
We toppled what government there was there. That's why
Core,
I see
you mean?
the core. Yes.
You and I have
Autocratic as it may be.
You and I have very different definitions of what a government is.
I suppose that's true. Government may be the wrong word. But there was a status quo that we radically changed.
I wouldn't be so worried about shaking up the status quo on occasion. If Core had let us leave, if Core had demanded us to leave and allowed us to do so, I would have done it without a second thought. But that's not what happened.
No.
Part of me worries that you might be too conservative for a commander. Let me phrase that better. I think you're conservative enough for a commander, but I can't help but worry that you might be too conservative to be a captain.
Well, that's not the role I'm playing here, sir.
That's true, but I'm not going to be in command of this starship forever. And when I retire, I would like to see my my second in command get a command of his own, if he wants one, I suppose. Do you want one?
I would like to be in the position to want one. Yes. I've been in charge before, not of a whole ship, not for an extended period of time. I believe I can command. I believe I can make the tough calls. I think I understand your worry.
I'm not worried about you making the tough calls. I'm worried about you making the right calls.
The right calls at the moment aren't the right calls 10 years down the line.
No, that's true. But they're the best we can manage at the time. And sometimes you just have to do what you see best at the time and let things shake out the way they are going to. That's my advice. you can take it or leave it.
I'm surprised that somebody with your level of experience, the sheer number of lifetimes you lived, I find it curious that I feel like I take the long view a little bit more than yourself. I don't know where you were during all the conflicts in the last 10 years, but I've watched thousands of people die. And the ones that got blown out of a starship were the lucky ones. Because we were curious and we moved too quickly. And that's what Starfleet's all about. Exploration, moving forward, meeting new people, and sometimes you're going to meet bad people. I understand that. This is the second time we flew straight towards a singularity with little regard for the physics that could crush our ship, what was on the other side of it that could do harm to our people, the vast amounts of technology we don't understand. We could have been flung into the Delta Quadrant, the Gamma Quadrant.
We've been extremely careful. The parallel universe, we never went in. We always kept the ship safe at a safe distance while we did our studies, and we came out okay. In fact, we saw the mirror. We saw what happened in the alternate universe where that didn't happen, but we managed to avoid that fate because we explored, but we were practical about it. There's nothing wrong. There is such a thing as being too practical. Sometimes you need to barrel towards those black holes, but just be careful about it.
I feel like the line between exploration ship, science ship, warship have been blurred in the Federation in the past decade or so. So, which are we on?
I feel there never was such a line. At least I can't speak of Earth, but on Trill, our trade ships are equipped for war. Our warships are equipped for scanning. It's the nature of things. Sometimes it's better to be ready for anything.
Have you seen a Starfleet science ship engage with a real warship?
I saw many.
I had a front row seat to a Miranda class getting torn apart by a Jem'Hadar fighter. Just one of the little ones.
You know,
there is a distinction.
I remember when the Miranda class was fresh off the line. The Reliant was a beauty of a ship. But those, it never, the crew of that ship did their duty. They did not go into that combat out of foolishness. They went there out of bravery. A science ship is a starship. It should be ready for war. It should be ready for science, and it should be ready for diplomacy. We're ready for all of them, and you need to be ready for all of them too. Even if it means you have to protect your foolish captain going trying to accomplish his mission.
All I'm saying is I think we put a timer on a mission that didn't need to have one. We're out in the vacuum of space. We can spend weeks out here. We can take our time. We didn't need on the second day of finding this place to send our entire command structure onto a facility we knew nothing about. From what I hear, this if it wasn't for the ingenuity of Kostra and Tong, we might not have had a ship to come back to.
Well, next time I'll ask you to stay aboard the ship.
That is your prerogative, sir, but I'm not sure that's how protocol. Not sure that follows the recommendations of Starfleet. You're right. I'm not ready to be a captain because my job is in the field. That's where I excel, and I know that. One day I'd like to move beyond that. But whether you signed up for that chair or put in it, I don't know, but that's your chair. It's where you belong. And when I finish my job down there and it's safe, I would welcome your input because you are far and beyond the diplomat that I am.
Seems like we're not going to agree on this point.
Maybe not yet.
You did
We're
good
from
work.
different times.
You did good work, and I appreciate it. It'll all go in my report.
I can say the same.
Well, now, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to get some shut-eye.
A preliminary debrief for you, sir, on the Abandoned, what little I understand of their people, their culture, and most importantly, their tactical assessment.
We'll forward it over to our second contact team, Tim, when they arrive down the line.
All right. I do appreciate our talk, sir.
Me too. I really do.
And things to think
Yeah.
about.
All right.
Can I get an empathy check on the captain?
Yeah, you're trying to read his mind?
I mean, not read his mind, but just
his emotional state.
Yeah, just his
Sure.
emotional state.
I think
See how much he's wishing Cass was sitting here right now.
no, he doesn't. He's worried about you. Like he seems to genuinely be concerned about you.
All right,
And
that's one more pride damage. All right, I'll take that. No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. There might be a little bit of annoyance there too, but yeah, no, mostly worry, concern.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stand up, go for a salute, and then before you can even stop doing that, I'll relax and walk out.
As the door opens, you see Dasavi standing there with a look of sympathy as you walk out, about to hit the button.
Yeah, so from one empath to the other, while Ambrose is just stone-faced serious, you get like the most empathetic sigh possible as I look at you, I nod, and I walk past. But man, I am not angry, not even necessarily annoyed. Just it's just full like mental facepalm right now.
You hear you tried, but he's stubborn. And he will never not ever be stubborn.
Also, the door is open, so he probably hear you.
No,
It is
in his head.
telepathic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, two empaths can actually be telepathic to each other. So.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
good luck.
Chin up.
So when you come in, Captain Hage is reclined back in his chair, and then he notices that you came in, and he sits up and he's like, "I know that face."
He's right.
Boy, did he disclose that? All of that. You empaths are tricky ones. You know that, all right?
I can't really disagree with you. He didn't intentionally disclose anything. It was fairly apparent before the door even opened that you two were having at least part of the discussion I'm here to talk to you about.
Great. And why don't we bring in all the officers so they can all complain to me about me going on one away mission?
It's not about you going on one away mission. It's about putting yourself and the ship at risk. You left an ensign in charge of the entire ship.
Coster was in charge of the ship.
Falk seemed to be under a completely different impression.
Ensign Falks did not seem to understand the situation correctly.
Then you probably should revisit that.
I think next time I should leave you in charge. See how you like this.
Well, that's the other part of the reason I'm here. So we'll start with the part you won't like, and we'll end with the part I won't like, and we can both leave frustrated.
Sounds like our usual. Go ahead.
You know. Leaving the entirety of your command staff, or taking the entirety of the command staff onto the station, was foolhardy. What were you thinking?
I was thinking I wanted my best officers there to carry out the mission.
And what about the rest of the officers who are here to deal with things like the life support going down?
They're Starfleet officers, and they were able to handle the life support going down. Were you not?
We were.
What? Okay. If I had stayed here, what could I have done in that situation that you weren't able to do yourself?
Commanded the ship? I
Communication
don't have my command cert. I can run a med bay until the Klingons become farmers. But I can't command a ship.
Look, you all handled yourselves well. I read the reports. Everything seemed under control. Yes, there was a problem, but yes, you all dealt with it exactly how you were trained to.
And what about the problem on the station? If that had gone sideways, you would all be dead or trapped. Best case scenario, trapped. We lost communications. We lost ability to transport for quite some time, which I would like to remind you, I predicted.
Doctor, I told you so.
All right, we'll send a shuttle next time. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yes.
Okay.
I would also like you to hear. I'd like to hear that you will not take your entire command staff on the next away mission or any other away mission.
I can make any promises. Sometimes there are dangerous missions that require the best, and sometimes the ship doesn't need to be babysat by the command officers.
And sometimes the captain doesn't need to go poking about at things that are interesting because he wants to see the new shiny toy.
This is why I hate arguing with Beta Zeds.
Because I'm right?
Occasionally.
Usually. And this has nothing to do with being empathic. It has to do with knowing you. How long have we been friends, Jorad?
I stopped counting after 15.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I did have a fascination, and I wouldn't have gone down there otherwise, most likely. But overall, I think everything worked out for the best.
By happenstance,
No, by skill. I think you're not giving the crew enough credit.
you're right. By skill. Did they need your skill? Is Lieutenant Shabaraneva incapable of dealing with a sentient computer? Should we perhaps send her back to Starfleet and get someone else so that, if something goes wrong with Eva because she can't do it on her own?
No, Lieutenant Shiranawa was critical to the mission. Shiranawa. Yeah, I'm saying it right.
Shabaraneva.
Shiranawa.
Lieutenant Shabalba.
It's just Miss Sh at this point.
Right.
Shiranawa. Lieutenant Shibar.
Gas.
I don't think I could do
Kaz.
it either. So
Lieutenant Shiranawa was in the right place at the right time to solve the mission.
She was
And we all were.
precisely where her skill set put her.
And I believe I contributed no small amount to convincing Core to stand down.
No doubt you did. But did she need you to?
If you're trying to use my confidence of Cass against me, and I do not appreciate it. No, if I had not gone, she probably would have been able to handle the situation without me.
Mm-hmm. If you had just waited for the security team to clear the station, you still would have gotten to play with the shiny new toy without putting yourself at risk, without risking turning the ship upside down as we lost the entire command staff.
Without giving
And-
Ambrose a heart attack.
Oh, please, if he has to worry about giving Ambrose a heart attack, nothing would have done. But I take your point. I see what you're saying, and you're right. I probably went over there for selfish reasons, and I'll admit that. I can't promise you, though, that it won't be necessary in the future. I will try and be more cognizant of when it is necessary for me to go and when it's not.
Appreciated. Necessary versus want versus need.
Yes, I will admit that may have been a want scenario rather
Yes.
than a need scenario.
And it doesn't set a good example for the rest of the crew either.
Neither does everybody coming in here and badgering you about my orders, but that hasn't stopped any of you.
Well, we have to keep you on your toes.
Well, Admiral Oniat, consider myself chastised.
That is not the field promotion I want, but thank you. All right, well, since you're uncomfortable and unhappy, let's move on to the rest of it. This mission, as much as I hate to say it, because it will just serve in your mind as evidence that your irresponsible actions led to more good than harm. This has served to highlight the need to get my command cert.
I am delighted to hear you say that.
If I call the bridge again and am informed an ensign is in charge, I might have a heart attack.
I agree. I agree. We do need somebody experienced who's not necessary to keep the lights on. I'll agree with you to that. All right, perfect. Well,
Let's set up a training schedule.
excellent. I'll handle that myself. That is both a want and need scenario.
Oh, you're gonna make me pay for the rest of this conversation, aren't you?
Oh, you can only imagine.
Just remember, I have hypo sprays.
I'm gonna make the Kobayashi Maru look like a child's. Like,
I see a nap in your future, Jorad.
oh, believe me, I do too. If there wasn't anything else, so let's say we make that future a reality.
All right. Get some rest. I have no doubt if the mission itself didn't drain you, that the last two conversations you have had.
I'll have to figure out which one did it more. Good night, Disabi.
Good night, Jorad.
Perfect.
Excellent.
I loved both those scenes. Those were great.
Those were amazing.
All right. What else do we want to see? Do we want
So Ambrose is actually, since the captain is in his ready room, I imagine Ambrose is, he has the bridge, even if the captain's only like 20 feet away. I think that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
And Ambrose isn't actually sitting in the big chair. He's standing up in front of him. He just looks over at the doctor as she exits and just gives a more like, because I can't telepathically know what you said, but I feel like I get the feeling like you're saying the things that I have been programmed not to say directly. So it's just kind of like we're on the same page.
Partners in crime.
Just a sense, get a general sense of catharsis. All right. Anyone else got a scene?
I'm good.
If we've got time and people have the energy, I'd like to do a scene with Mills and Chierka. I'd like to give her a minute or an opportunity to kind of unwind.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Before we get to that one, though, I have one that I'd like to do, but it needs to be Tong and Kaz.
Interesting.
Okay.
So Tong and Kaz are probably aboard the Arrow Wing, helping Eva get resituated. Eva, who has taken a liking to Tong for saving her life, basically.
This is my friend.
This is my friend. Lieutenant Shabaraneva. See, I tried. I got it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good job.
Lieutenant, this experience has been most enlightening and somewhat terrifying.
Terrifying was the word I was thinking of, Eva. I'm glad to recognize that.
The power of the core. There was a very real possibility that that it could have rewritten me.
Yes.
I have not had to come to grips with mortality before. How do your people deal with it?
With each other's assistance. It's something that most of our species have learned, and particularly in Starfleet when we come together to work across species, is that we need to talk through those moments, and we need the reassurance and support of the other sentients who are together on this journey with us. The rest of the ship has a counseling staff. I'm afraid that all you have is me, and I think we should discuss these things routinely because they're terrifying and you have no frame of reference for them. And I hope I can provide some of that.
I am accustomed to having a certain level of omnipotence as to the events of what happens aboard this ship.
You're used to being the most intelligent, most powerful being in your environment. And out here in space, that's not going to always be the case.
I find it disconcerting that an ensign who has little experience in my systems was able to be so effective. I'm grateful, Mr. Tong, but take no offense to that.
You might be underestimating us, Eva. one of the problems with the way Starfleet is structured is people are assigned tasks, and it's tempting to think of them as their task and not as full individuals, which is why many of us struggle to understand you as something more than that which makes the ship go. We are much more than we seem to be, and much more than sometimes our circumstances allow us to be. And Sintong demonstrates that.
Thank you, sir.
Good job, Ensign.
Yes. Now, if you could only get me back into my normal-sized home.
Oh, right. I'm working on that. Unfortunately, your house was quite thoroughly trashed. It's going to take a while to put everything back together.
Again, though, Mr. Tong, I do appreciate your efforts. I am told you play a game of chance. Is this something that you would be opposed to my learning?
Well, I feel like you might have an unfair advantage being a giant supercomputer and all. But, I mean, nobody else here plays for actual Latinum, so it can't hurt, I guess.
Yes, I do not have a way to get my hands on Latinum. You have intrigued me, Ensign Tong. I admit that my experience with Ferengi is extremely limited, but you have inspired me to learn more of your species.
Well, good. We are an eminently cultured species.
That is slightly contrary to what I was informed by. Oh my God! Oh, I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah. Picturing him.
The
Maddox.
doctor, the one that created her.
Yeah, Bruce Maddox.
Maddox.
Ah,
Yes.
right.
Yes. From Mr. Maddox.
Oh, don't believe that slander. It is entirely false. I assure you. Simple matter of overcompensating for one's own deficiencies, I'm sure.
Perhaps. Again, thank you, Mr. Tong. I look forward to our conversations, Lieutenant.
I do too, and I don't know whether proximity matters to you or not, but I'm happy. While you're stuck here, I'm happy to come down here and talk with you.
At the moment, I don't have access to the rest of the ship, so I do not have. I would be able to communicate using the ship's communication systems, but
Actually, you know, Eva, I was thinking I'm also fairly good with well, obviously transporters and replicators, and there is a power system application involved as well. And I think with the help of the other holographic systems, I think we might be able to make you an actual person shape thing. Because they were saying you picked out a face, and normally there's bodies that go along with those faces, and we have projectors all over the place. So if that would help your mobility, I feel like you can just pop into all of our internal sensors and whatnot. So I'm not sure if that's really going to help your sense of self, but it might help with the rest of the crew to have a person-shaped person to talk to. I guess maybe.
Tong, that's a terrific idea. Eva, consider it. There are many ramifications to this, but it's quite an interesting concept.
You would also have hands. They are helpful.
as the form that I was given was chosen by Core, I will have to give it great consideration.
Ah.
But I do appreciate it.
I think Tom raises some very good points. Think about it, take your time, and in the meantime, I'll come down here to work as much as I possibly can and keep you company. And we can talk more about the whole death thing.
Yes.
And the humility thing, which is probably tied up in it too.
Humiliation.
Not necessarily. We all lose sometimes. And no matter how powerful or talented or intelligent we think we are, there's always somebody better out there. And learning to accept that That's growing up, no matter what your species.
I don't know about that, sir. There might be somebody better out there than what you are doing, but if you can convince them that they're not, it doesn't matter.
Well, it may not matter to them, but you still have to look yourself in the mirror.
Fortunately, Ferengi are a beautiful people.
Well, there is that. And a confident people.
That's a good place to end it right there. That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Next scene. We were gonna do what? Cherka and Mills, is that
Yeah.
what it
So as we're leaving the transporter room, Mills kind of claps Cherk on the shoulders. Come on, let's grab a drink.
I was gonna hit up the holodeck. Okay, let's go.
You can hit up the holodeck later.
All right.
What are you gonna do anyway?
I don't know. I was thinking of maybe enjoying a holonovel. There's this one I like. It's about a grim detective in the hard streets of Trill, who solves crime.
Yeah, you can do that later. Come drink with me.
Let's go. So
we'll head over to the. My brain just wants to say 5 forward, and it's the wrong ship. Whatever,
It's just the forward
wherever
lounge.
our bar is.
Yeah,
The
there's a forward
lounge,
lounge and an aft lounge. So
Yeah, so we'll head over to the forward lounge.
Yezabeth will order a Saurian sarsaparilla and some carbo beans.
Mills just says, "Bring me something strong. Strongest thing you've got."
that will be done.
That was some mission. When those walkers came over the hill,
You're telling
I thought we
me.
were done for.
You and me both. You did good though. I don't mean no offense. I wasn't expecting you to be as useful as you were. Not because you're you, but because your specialty is more science than, killing giant robots.
Well, sensors are important. They, really, when you think about it, our eyes are sensors. Our hands, our tongues, they're all sensors.
I'll remember that next time I need to. Sure. You're right.
Right.
Sure.
I don't know. You might be right. I helped out in a pinch, but to be honest, I'd much rather just stay in my sensor pod and keep calibrating them. That's so much easier.
Well, if you'd stayed in your sensor pod, I wouldn't have known to shoot that thing in its giant sensor on the top of its head. Honestly, I probably would have kept. My first shot probably would have been to try to take out the legs.
Well, I think the legs would actually be pretty tough because they would have to be made to walk up difficult terrain. So they're actually pretty complex technology. The sensors are near the top, That's my take on it. Nobody asked me my opinions at the Daystrom Institute, but
No, you're right. You're right. The legs have to be structurally sound. There's still pivot points, and you hit them at the right angle in the right spot. You can break them apart, but no, that sensor was a good call.
Well, thanks. Don't take this the wrong way, but I hope it's the only time I ever help you destroy a giant robot.
No offense taken. I hope it's the last time we have to destroy a giant robot.
What do you think Ambrose was impressed? I'm trying to make a good impression on him. he doesn't seem like he likes anybody.
It's hard to tell if he's very business. I don't think he doesn't like you.
Well, that's something at least, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? Do you think you impressed anybody?
I hope I impressed the commander. I mean, he's kind of my hero.
Really?
Not often do you get the opportunity to make your hero proud.
Well, I think he was pretty impressed. You were the only one who was able to actually land a hit against the thing.
Yeah.
I'll bet you he's told the captain all about it too. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a promotion.
When you say captain, she kind of like rolls her eyes a little. I mean, I don't know what promotions they like. Yeah, well, I suppose I wouldn't mind taking the security officer off the commander's hands.
I think you'd be great at it.
Thanks. Can I tell you something? Just you and me.
Yeah.
The captain kind of ticked me off. Like, I don't really know much about him, so I don't really have much of an opinion, but this mission, we shouldn't have been there for one. It was tactically unsound. And he kept stepping on the commander. Whenever, did you catch that? When we were out in the field, anytime I'd radio the commander and ask and brief or ask for guidance, the captain would come in and give orders. And sure, chain of command, yada yada, but also area of expertise.
Yeah.
We were in a tactical mission. We needed tactical guidance.
Yesbeth will look around and make sure absolutely no one is near. I could overhear them. And she'll say, "Boy, you're not going to hear me say anything against the captain, but I think you're not the only one who thinks so. I heard on the bridge, Desavi and Lieutenant Commander Onia and Commander Ambrose both went into his office one after another, and the rumor is that they were angry at him for the mission."
Well, maybe they'll talk some sense into him. You can't just do everything. You're the captain, sure, but you can't just throw your weight around and do everybody's jobs.
Look, I just hope he never tries to do I just hope he never has a reason to talk to me. I want to be as low as possible so that way the captain never, ever has a reason to exchange a word with me.
Mills kind of softens a little. I'm sure it would be fine. He's not, I'm frustrated, but he's not that bad, or he doesn't seem that bad.
Well, he sounds pretty bad.
I don't know. I mean, they wouldn't have. I know I'm waffling. I know. They wouldn't have given him the Europa if he weren't a good captain. But I don't know. It's so.
I probably shouldn't tell
He's
you.
kind of like upsets the drink a little. Kind of slams her hand on the table, a little frustrated. Can't really get the words out. Drink sloshes a little bit.
I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Trill hosts, they have a reputation for being pretty arrogant.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, sure. Like they're responsible for most of the advancements in our society, and they keep things stable and everything. And fine. But they know they do. You know what I mean?
Mm, I get that.
I'm just glad I'm never gonna have a slug in my head.
Is that where it goes?
Well, no, it actually goes in the torso, but you know, it's pretty gross actually.
It doesn't sound. Yeah, it sounds kind of gross.
It's pretty gross. Ugh.
No offense.
None taken. I think it's
Yeah.
weird.
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm a little out of my element, human and all, but yeah, heart slug doesn't sound like a desirable thing.
You have people that would kill for one back on the homeworld, but
well, yeah, you get to join the elite. It sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, but nah. Real Trill. You know, we keep it old school.
To not having slugs.
Delightful. That seems like a good place to wrap up the scene.
I like it.
Yeah.
And any other things we wanted to do?
If Cass knew all this was going on, she would be out defending the captain, but she is off the arrow wing with Pong.
Yep. Keep piling it on. I love it. Quick question, Evelyn. How old is Mills? It's not on our document.
Mills is.
And how?
It's not on our document. I should fix that.
I don't think so. And I guess follow up would be, how long has she been in Starfleet?
It's not on there.
If you know off the top of your head.
O'Connor also does not have an age. Just an FYI.
Oh, well, I will fix that too. Yeah, give me a second here. Mills is 26. She. Where the crap? Maybe I didn't. She's been in Starfleet for a while. Apparently I didn't put how long.
You changed it the first session because you're originally going to have her be seasoned, but then when we were role playing, you had her be relatively new, and then so that might be why you removed it. You switched it up in the first session.
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
I'd flipped her and O'Connor.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, because she'd just come to DS9, but she'd been in for a while. She wanted to see more of the Dominion War, but her dad was an admiral, so he kept pulling strings and keeping her basically in like desk positions. But I didn't put exactly when she joined Starfleet.
Okay. Well, I mean, graduating with lieutenant junior grade, you usually spend more time, so probably not more than 7-8 years, which is considerable. Okay. Well, it's interesting that conversation went the way it did, because Ambrose would like a conversation with Mills as well.
Okay.
And I imagine this is actually after one of our sort of group training sessions at security, and I tell you to hang back.
Okay.
Mills.
She looks a little nervous, but is keeping her composure. So you would sense that she feels nervous, but
yeah,
it's the. Yes, sir.
I wanted you to stick around for a second. I have a proposition.
Yes, sir.
You did good back there. Between you and myself, we did the job of a much larger security team, which I admit I sent back to the captain at the time. But we handled it. We did good. You did good.
Thank you, sir. And I recommended we send them back, so.
That's a different conversation, but I agree. I think it was the right call at the time. And that's another reason I want to have this conversation. You show promise. You got a good eye. Got a good trigger finger. You have your finger on the pulse out there.
Thank you, sir. Inside, she is beaming.
I had a conversation with the captain yesterday, contents of which I won't go into, but it was pointed out that we will not always be in the positions we are currently in.
She nods. Waits for you to go on.
You're not going to be a lieutenant junior grade your entire career. I'm sure you know that.
I certainly hope not, sir. I will have done something terribly wrong if I am.
Not necessarily. There are plenty of officers that get to your rank, and that's all they want. They do their job in Starfleet. They do it well, and that's good enough for them. I don't think that's good enough for you.
No, sir. I want more.
All right. I'd like to see more from you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep an eye on you. As, well, when we all move up a chair, which apparently is something we have to worry about, I got a chair picked out for you, if you're ready for it.
Thank you, sir. I hope to make you proud.
I'm going to put you in charge of your own team. We'll go from there.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll see you in a few days. Dismissed.
Salutes and walks out.
And I am going to go and put a letter of commendation in her file for her assistance in prioritizing the safety of the abandon that we were protecting, and for keeping a cool head and directing things while I was on my face half burnt.